Hey everyone, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy the audiobooks, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support us further, consider becoming a Patreon member. As a member, you'll gain the ability to request the next part of a novel audiobook I've uploaded, depending on your Patreon tier.
3 days later. Qingyun City. The lively energy of Qingyun City reached a fever pitch. The wide road, spanning 10 feet across, was crowded with caravans rolling in from every direction. Onlookers lined both sides of the street, their eyes filled with curiosity and anticipation. This time the Eastern gathering was going to be held at Tianlong Mansion, one of the top clan in the eastern region situated in Qingyun City. Qingyun City was a sprawling metropolis nestled in a land blessed with abundant natural resources. Unlike Misty Vale City, which was relatively modest in scale, Qingyun City's vastness was reflected not only in its population but also in its wealth, far surpassing that of its smaller counterpart. Rich veins of rare minerals, spiritual stones, and precious ores lay beneath the surface of the region, making Qingyun a hub for cultivators and merchants seeking to purchase materials for weapons, armor, and alchemical concoctions. The mountains surrounding the city were dotted with large mining operations, each extracting valuable resources that attracted powerful sects and clans from across the eastern region. Furthermore, Qingyun's fertile lands stretched across vast plains, fed by the region's rivers, which were said to be enriched by traces of spiritual energy. These lands yielded not just common crops, but rare medicinal herbs and spirit plants, some of which were ingredients in high-grade alchemical pills. In Qingyun, it wasn't uncommon to find such herbs growing in abundance, harvested by powerful sects, or even small local clans, who had staked claims on the land centuries ago. In addition to its agricultural and mineral wealth, Qingyun City's strategic position as a central hub for trade and commerce made it a vibrant center of economic activity. Nestled between key regions, it served as a vital crossroads for merchants traveling to and from the capital. This central location allowed for efficient trade routes, connecting the city to various provinces and facilitating the movement of goods, resources, and information. Merchants flocked to Qingyun City to take advantage of its bustling markets, where they could exchange everything from rare herbs and minerals to powerful artifacts and alchemical ingredients. The city's proximity to the capital also meant that influential figures and powerful sects frequently visited, eager to establish connections and alliances, further boosting its economic prominence. This economic prosperity not only attracted cultivators in search of resources, but also provided the city's residents with access to higher-tier cultivation materials and pills. In contrast to Misty Vale City, where Rank 2 pills were considered rare treasures, in Qingyun City, such pills were sold in almost every shop, and even higher-grade pills were available to those with enough wealth or influence. Although Rank 3 pills remained uncommon, Qingyun's alchemists were known to produce them more frequently, making the city an important stop for those seeking high-grade pills. Compared to Misty Vale City situated in a remote area, Qingyun City was a vast and wealthy city. Today, the city's inhabitants were buzzing with excitement since it was the day of the Eastern Gathering. The Eastern Gathering was not only an opportunity for the auction house and other businesses to make money, but also for the people to meet those powerful clans from other cities including Feng Chen. Feng Chen's fame had spread far and wide due to his remarkable achievements, and many were eager to see the young clan leader who led his clan to prominence. The head of Feng Clan, Feng Chen, is said to be the participant from Misty Vale City. Naturally, it should be him. He has eliminated all other major clan in that city. Hey. Don't make him sound like a villain. They were the ones targeting the Feng Clan, and had failed. Moreover, they dare to bring in an outsider in their city's affairs. Yeah, those trashy elders from Zhou clan. Can't they keep their head to where they belong? Unnecessary going to another city to get killed. TSK. They deserved such an ending. Anyway, I am curious to know whether Feng Chen is stronger or our Tianlong leader. Obviously, it is Tianlong leader. Clearly, while Feng Chen had recently gained fame, his reputation lacked the solid foundation built over the years by other clan leaders. Unlike them, who had established themselves through consistent achievements and influence, Feng Chen's rise was swift and largely untested. And it was not only those older guys that people were curious about, but also those young geniuses who had started to make a name for themselves. Feng Yun also drew considerable attention, mostly because of his status as the ex-fiancé of Ling Meiyu, particularly from the young geniuses. "Hey, seems like we're about to cross paths with Ling Meiyu's ex-fiancé," Hulian said, a sly smile curling at the edge of her lips. Beside her, Yuan Zian snorted in disdain. "Humph. I'll make sure he knows who he messed with. A guy like him. Trash like that isn't even close to being worthy of our junior sister Meiyu." Hulian and Yuan Zian were also disciples of the Mystic Flame sect, and had come to Qingyun City because her family was participating in the Eastern Gathering, NOVLB/JNN. Obviously, since Yuan Zian belongs to the Mystic Flame sect, she doesn't have good feelings about Feng Yun and considers him to be a man who has tarnished her junior sister's reputation by divorcing her. "Come on, sis," chimed in Yuan Ling. He raised an eyebrow at Lu Zian. "You shouldn't call him trash. Didn't you hear? He's already broken through to the peak foundation establishment stage." Although he could understand why his sister didn't like Feng Yun, that didn't mean that he was going to allow Yuan Zian to make such ignorant remarks. Even if one doesn't like others, fact is a fact. And the fact is that Feng Yun is no longer trash, and could be considered to have quite a remarkable talent for cultivating the peak foundation establishment stage at age 16. He thought that no matter what, one should know how to acknowledge the truth. And he was disappointed about her sister who is letting her emotions speak over the truth. Yuan Zian clicked her tongue. Peak foundation establishment stage. So what? He's still nothing compared to our junior sister or any of us. Yuan Zian said with her mouth of disdain. Seeing her ignorant sister, Yuan Ling just shook his head. He didn't want to continue this nonsensical talk, and changed the topic. "Apart from you, which sect's inner disciple is going to participate?" Yuan Ling asked. In this gathering, the ones who should be potential opponents of him were either the heirs of the clan or those clan members who were sent to the sect and became their inner disciples. Many powerful clans choose to send their children to powerful sects, because those powerful sects have many resources that are incomparable to a clan. Of course, there were also many like him who chose to practice in their clan. There is one from Spirit Wind Palace. I think he is one of the inner disciples and also a member of the Tianlong clan. Hulian replied. Getting news was relatively easy on the Mystic Flame sect, and that included information about other sects. Spirit Wind Palace. That's impressive. Do you know his name? Yuan Ling inquired, intrigued. As one knows, Spirit Wind Palace is also a top sect and becoming their inner disciple was by no means easy. Hulian nodded. His name is Tianlong Yu. He's known for his speed and agility in battle. They say he has a natural affinity for wind-based techniques. Yuan Zian scoffed. Speed is nothing without strength. He can only be considered a second-rated fighter. Yuan Zian remarked. Although she sounded arrogant, it was because she had already defeated this guy at the sect competition before and didn't think he was a worthy opponent. Of course, in this Eastern gathering, the top clan favorite to win was the Yuan clan with Yuan Ling and Yuan Zian as two of their participants. For Yuan Zian, who is a disciple of the sect master of Mystic Flame sect, almost no one was her opponent in Eastern gathering. There's also Xian Yuan Feng from the Iron Fist sect. They say he has been training in the sect's sacred grounds, Hulian continued, her eyes lighting up with excitement. Xian Yuan Feng. I've heard of him. He's quite a powerhouse, but I wonder if he can last 10 moves against me. Yuan Ling mused. Oh, and don't forget about Yunhai Mei from the Yunhai clan. She's an extraordinary alchemist and a rising star among the younger generation. Yuan Zian rolled her eyes. Alchemists are useful, but they're not warriors. What's the point of being able to make pills? If you can't defend yourself. True, but she is also known to possess special mind techniques, and opponents are defeated before they know what has happened. I heard our elders were quite eager to recruit her. Hu Lian pointed out. Whatever, Yuan Zian huffed, still unimpressed. I'm more interested in seeing how Feng Yun handles them. If he can't even win against those people, then he can forget defeating junior sister Meiyu. I'm curious too. Will Feng Yun rise to the challenge or be swept away by them? That Su family of Baihua City, Guo family of Wuyun City has also arrived. People outside the Tianlong mansion exclaimed as they excitedly watched the strongest clan from each city of the eastern region arrive. People discussed among themselves about the arriving families, mentioning descendants who were chosen to join prestigious clans, or how their elders and clan leaders had recently broken through and risen to power in their respective cities. In any case, those families attending the Eastern gathering were all very famous, with many of their achievements being known to the general public. Look! Suddenly one of the people pointed his finger at the upcoming clan. It's the Feng Clan! He exclaimed excitedly. Although he didn't know any Feng Clan members, their banner above indicates that they are the Feng Clan, who has been making waves in not only the Eastern region but also the Azure Sky Empire. Moreover, there is only one family with the name Feng in the entire Azure Sky family. Feng Chen and others arrived in Qingyun City, and were making their way towards Tianlong Mansion on their horses. So they are the ones who killed 2 elders from the Zhou family. One of them, equally excited, spoke up, eager to catch a glimpse of Feng Chen, who had been causing such a stir. This feat was widely known, as it had been years since anyone like Feng Chen dared to kill elders from the Mystic Flame Sect or Spirit Wind Palace. For many, Mystic Flame Sect is the strongest sect in Azure Sky Empire that none dare to offend, and not even the first-rated clan in the capital. N/O/vel/b/in.c/in.c/om. Now, there was a clan leader from a small city who killed 1 elder from Spirit Wind Palace and another from Mystic Flame Sect. Of course, the news will be spread far and wide. Others also looked at the direction in which the men pointed and noticed a small group of people. What? So they are ones. TSK. Even if I had the strength, I wouldn't have the guts to kill those 2 elders. That's why you aren't famous as the Feng Clan leader. Only someone with courage could achieve something like that. Heh. What courage? It's just stupidity. Their clan would sooner or later disappear from the face of this earth. Some felt admiration for what Feng Chen did, while others were laughing at his stupid decision to kill the 2 elder Zhou. Even if one were to defeat them, they would politely apologize so as to not antagonize the power behind the 2. However, Feng Chen not only displayed the power to defeat the 2 of them but also the courage to kill them. Hee. I am afraid that the Feng Clan wouldn't survive in this Eastern gathering. There should be many families aiming to avenge the 2 elders in this event and curry favor with the Mystic Flame Sect. You're right. Feng Clan will definitely suffer in this event. Who gave them the guts to offend to top sect of Azure Sky Empire? Oh, looks like this time Eastern gathering will be interesting. I bet that Feng Clan wouldn't survive even 1 month after this event. Brother, your hope is too high. I bet 100 gold coins that they can't survive even half a month. I bet that they can't survive 1 week. The crowd murmured. No one was optimistic about the Feng Clan situation. After all, the Mystic Flame Sect is the supreme power in Azure Sky Empire, and no one who offended them ended well. Listening to the mockery and gloating of the people around them, all the people of the Feng family were furious, especially the young ones. This is too much. They were the ones who targeted our family first, and were killed by the family head. Why does everyone except us forgive them? Freeing tigers just to have them bite us back. Feng Jianhong's face darkened with a deep frown as he spoke angrily. Feng Xiaoyuer nodded in agreement, her eyes narrowing as she caught the cruel smiles of some onlookers. If it weren't for the head's decisive actions, we would have been the ones suffering under the Zhou elders. These people are blind to the truth. Xiaoyue, that's where you're mistaken. It's not about whether what we did was right or wrong, it's about who we did it to. Since Elder Zhou was from the Mystic Flame sect, no matter what Qin'e did, we would have been criticized either way. Grand Elder Jinshan said. What Jinshan said was the truth. If Elder Zhou or Zhou Tianhua belonged to a small clan without a sect, no one would have questioned Feng Chen's decision to kill them. It is only because they belong to the Zhou clan as well as the top sect that people are criticizing Feng Chen's decision. Anyway, perform well at this Eastern gathering and those voices will naturally disappear. Grand Elder Zhilan said. This time Grand Elder Jinshan and Grand Elder Zhilan were accompanying Feng Chen. While their participation in the Eastern gathering wasn't mandatory, their presence was essential to demonstrate the strength of the Feng clan. Additionally, they were there to protect Feng Yun and other young talents including Feng Chen in case any issues arose. Despite Feng Chen's superior strength, they knew that if faced with foes far beyond his capabilities, they were ready to sacrifice themselves to ensure his safe retreat. Humph. We will shut them up for good in this event, Feng Liang declared with confidence. While their participation in the Eastern gathering wasn't mandatory, their presence was essential to demonstrate the strength of the Feng clan. Additionally, they were there to protect Feng Yun and other young talents, including Feng Chen, in case any issues arose. Despite Feng Chen's superior strength, they knew that if faced with foes far beyond his capabilities, they were ready to sacrifice themselves to ensure his safe retreat. As the Feng clan approached, the crowd began to discern the figures more clearly. Leading them was none other than Feng Chen, exuding an aura of confidence that drew everyone's attention. So that's Feng Chen, one onlooker murmured, eyes widening. He looks remarkably young and handsome. Indeed. He's very handsome. How could someone like him be so powerful? Another woman responded. Feng Chen was indeed very handsome, and he only became more handsome as his cultivation rose to the nascent soul realm. Feng head, look at me. I can give birth to 10 more of you. I am willing to risk my life to be together with you. Please look at me. Even the women who had been mocking and expressing disdain earlier were now shouting their admiration, captivated by Feng Chen's striking appearance. However, among the crowd, several men exchanged glances filled with disdain and jealousy. Look at them fawning over him. Pathetic, one scoffed, crossing his arms. Just because he's handsome doesn't mean he's formidable. I'd like to see him survive this gathering. Right? He may have killed a couple of elders, but that was pure luck. He's nothing in front of Tianlong leader, another chimed in, sneering. Bah. Just a pretty boy playing at being a leader. Let's see if he can charm his way out of trouble, a third man jeered, shaking his head in contempt. Yeah, they'll all be in for a rude awakening soon enough. Just wait until the Mystic Flame sect sends someone after him. They insulted and mocked more, seeing the women fawn over Feng Chen. Soon, Feng Chen along with other Feng clan members reached those crowds, but ignored them, and went straight into Tianlong Mansion. Feng Jianlong and others stared at them disdainfully but didn't do anything. If they gave in to anger and started fighting with them, they knew that their clan prestige would be damaged. They believed that they would soon know that their clan was not as simple and weak as they thought. Before making their way through the grand entrance of Tianlong Mansion, the Feng clan members dismounted from their horses. A group of stable attendants hurried over, bowing respectfully as they took the reins. The sound of hooves faded into the background as the horses were led away toward the stables. With their steeds gone, the Feng clan adjusted their robes and composed themselves, ready to face the gathering. Then, as the Feng clan began their approach to the mansion's entrance, the noises from inside grew louder, a chaotic blend of laughter, animated conversations, and the occasional burst of argument. The grand courtyard beyond the gate was filled with the hum of various influential clans already present, their voices bouncing off the marble pillars of Tianlong Mansion. It was clear that the Eastern gathering was well underway, with powerful figures exchanging pleasantries or plotting behind guarded smiles. But the moment the Feng clan drew closer, a ripple passed through the crowd like a gust of wind disturbing still waters. Conversations hushed momentarily as eyes turned toward them, assessing the newcomers with a blend of curiosity and contempt. Who are they? It's the first time I have seen them. Must be a new clan who is participating for the first time. It was the first time that Feng Clan was attending the Eastern gathering, and there weren't many people who recognized them at first glance. However, the moment they spotted the Feng Clan's banner, recognition flickered across their faces, quickly followed by expressions of disdain. It's the Feng Clan. The one who killed. They have the courage to attend after what they did. Alas, they messed with the wrong people. Those people in the crowd were not the only ones who were thinking that the Feng Clan was doomed, but also the members of the powerful clan thought the same. The moment that they realize it is the clan that offended Mystic Flame Sect and Spirit Wind Palace, they show their disdain and start to trash talk about them. Even those who were weaker than the Feng Clan didn't bother to hide their disdain, because they believed that the Feng Clan would be destroyed. Moreover, if they were to have a good relationship with Feng Clan, they believed that they wouldn't look good in front of Mystic Flame Sect and Spirit Wind Palace. There was also a chance that they would be dealt with if they tried to get along with the Feng Clan. So whether it was because of their own agenda, or due to the fear of the Mystic Flame Sect, they were ready to ignore or even mock the Feng Clan. Feng Chen walked at the front, his confidence radiating like an invisible shield. He moved with calm indifference, completely unfazed by the stares or disdain directed his way. Behind him, Feng Yun, Feng Jianhong, and other clan members followed, their expressions a blend of determination and simmering frustration at the whispers and glares aimed their way. Just as Feng Chen and the rest of the Feng Clan passed through the grand archway of Tianlong Mansion, a group of men clad in silver robes stepped forward, blocking their path. The leading figure, a man with sharp eyes and a sneer on his face, chuckled loudly. His voice was dripping with mockery as he spoke. Well, look who decided to crawl out of their cave and join the Eastern gathering. The Feng Clan, huh? He said, folding his arms as if to examine them like an amusement. Feng Chen looked up at the man with confusion. He didn't know who or what the guy wanted from him. Hey, look, it's Bai Head, Bai Zhang. Bai Zhang is said to have broken through the mid-stage 3 elements divine realm. TSK. Looks like Feng Clan is in trouble. What trouble? Feng Clan leader is said to have killed Elder Zhou Tianhua. Bai Zhang is not much different compared to him. Humph. You know nothing. Bai Clan has sworn their allegiance to the third prince. They must have gotten something out of that deal. Bai Zhang must have a trump card up his sleeve to handle the Feng Clan, otherwise, he wouldn't dare provoke them like this. Oh. But then why is the Bai Clan antagonizing the Feng Clan? I don't think there is any conflict between the two. That. I don't know. Maybe there is some past between the two that we don't know about. Feng Chen heard the discussion among the crowd and finally realized why the Bai Clan had shown themselves to trouble him. Others might not know it, but how could he not know after knowing that Bai Clan has sworn allegiance with the third prince? Since he had refused the third prince's offer, it was certain that he had antagonized the third prince. And it seems like the Bai Clan was instructed by the third prince to take care of him. Otherwise, there was no other reason for the Bai Clan to show aggression towards the Feng Clan. Though Feng Chen wondered who gave them the guts. You, Bai Zhang, aren't much stronger than Zhou Tianhua. Plus, your Bai Clan elders aren't much stronger than my elders. What gives you the courage? Feng Chen wondered. Step aside. Feng Chen said. Feng Chen wasn't interested in whatever Bai Zhang or Bai Clan wanted to do. And it didn't matter to him whether the Bai Clan was associated with the third prince or not. He would like to avoid getting into conflict and start bloodshed the moment he entered the Tianlong mansion. Bai Zhang stared in surprise at Feng Chen's demeanor, which revealed neither anger nor fear. He was also surprised by the fact that Feng Chen wasn't doing anything even when directly provoked. However, this only served to bolster Bai Zhang's confidence instead of making him reconsider or retreat. He interpreted the restraint shown by Feng Chen as hesitation, or perhaps even weakness. In Bai Zhang's mind, the lack of immediate aggression was a sign that the Feng Clan had no real strength to back up their words. He even started to believe the rumor that said that the only reason Feng Chen was able to kill Elder Zhou Tianhua was because of some cheap tricks. His chest puffed out slightly, arrogance swelling within him as he took a step forward. He sneered, believing that Feng Chen's composed demeanor was merely a facade, a desperate attempt to save face in front of the other clan. With the third prince backing him, and knowing that many of the other influential clans were watching, Bai Zhang saw this as his opportunity to humiliate the Feng clan publicly, thereby earning favor with the prince and solidifying his own clan's rising status. Step aside. Who do you think you are to order me around? Just a weak clan with a foolish leader. If you know what's good for you, I suggest you apologize to the third prince and have your clan pledge allegiance to him. Bai Zhang ordered arrogantly. The crowd stirred at his words, some people laughing quietly while others shook their heads at what they perceived as Feng Clan's fate. They finally knew that the Feng Clan not only had antagonized the two sects but also the third prince. It seems like Feng Clan's fate is sealed in this Eastern gathering. Even if it wasn't Bai Zhang, they thought that there would be another clan associated with Mystic Flame Sect or Spirit Wind Palace who would have made trouble for them. It just happens that it was Bai Zhang who went first. Feng Jianlong's fists clenched at his sides, his eyes burning with anger. Other members of Feng Clan including Feng Yun were equally angry at Bai Zhang for insulting their clan leader. If not for Feng Chen signaling them to calm down, they might have jumped and attacked Bai Zhang.N/O/vel/b/jn.c//jn.c/om. No matter whether you are Bai Clan leader or Mystic Flame Sect leader, Feng Clan members couldn't tolerate their family head being insulted. Feng Chen looked at Bai Zhang, his expression still relaxed. He shook his head knowing that this idiot would never listen to him unless he taught him a good lesson. And here I thought the Eastern gathering was meant for clans with strength, not clowns. Looking for a stage. Feng Chen responded as he took a step closer, meeting Bai Zhang's gaze. But if you insist on performing, make it quick. We have more important matters to attend. 2. Bai Zhang's sneer faltered for a moment as he met Feng Chen's eyes. For a moment, he felt like a rabbit looking at a tiger. But how could Bai Zhang back down so easily? Especially since all the other clans are paying attention to them at the moment. He felt a surge of anger when he thought about being scared of Feng Chen for a second and angrily yelled. You talk big for a dead guy. Without waiting for another word, he lunged at Feng Chen, ready to punch Feng Chen with his full strength. His speed was impressive, too fast for those in the core formation stage and below. Many in the crowd gasped, expecting Feng Chen to be struck down instantly. But Feng Chen didn't move. His eyes remained calm, his body still. And just when Bai Zhang's attack was inches from landing, Feng Chen's hand shot out, faster than a lightning strike, grabbing Bai Zhang's wrist in midair. The air seemed to freeze. Bai Zhang's momentum came to a screeching halt, his body lurching forward as he tried to force his strength down on Feng Chen. But it was no use. Bai Zhang's eyes widened in shock as he felt his power being effortlessly neutralized. He tried to pull away, but Feng Chen's grip was like iron, unmoving and unyielding. The crowd fell silent, many unable to believe what they were seeing. They didn't think that Feng Chen would be able to stop Bai Zhang's punch. One should know that the three elements divine realm punch was nothing to scoff at and could even break steel. However, Feng Chen just caught his punch like an adult handling a child's attack. Moreover, Feng Chen's expression never wavered, always calm and composed even when Bai Zhang attacked. You're weaker than I thought, Feng Chen said as if disappointed. Of course, compared to those attacks from rank 5 and rank 6 monsters in the Stormhull Valley, Bai Zhang's punch was like paper without any weight. Even if he didn't catch his punch, Bai Zhang could hardly even dent his skin. Bai Zhang gritted his teeth and tried to push more power into his attack, his other hand surging forward in a desperate attempt to land a blow. But Feng Chen was faster. His other hand shot up and caught Bai Zhang's second wrist with ease, twisting it painfully behind his back. Arg! Bai Zhang let out a startled yelp, his arrogance vanishing in an instant. What are you dash? His voice cracked as Feng Chen applied more pressure, bending his arm at an unnatural angle. Pain shot through Bai Zhang's body, and the proud leader of the Bai clan began to struggle like a trapped animal. Ah! Let go! You dash! Crack! He shouted, but his words quickly turned into a scream of agony as Feng Chen twisted his arm further, forcing him down onto one knee. Family head! Clan leader! The two elders accompanying Bai Zhang cried out in alarm. They never thought that Bai Zhang, the strongest person in their clan who is renowned for his physical strength, would find himself overpowered like this by Feng Chen. Let him go. You have no idea what you're doing. This is the Eastern gathering, and you can't act so recklessly. The Bai clan's elders said without thinking that they were the first ones who had forgotten that this was the Eastern gathering and had attacked first. The other elder, equally alarmed, chimed in. You think you can humiliate Bai Zhang without consequences? The Bai clan is loyal to the third prince. You will pay dearly for this. Knowing that they, who are just in the Grand Qi condensation realm, are no match for Feng Chen. Instead, they sought to threaten Feng Chen with their word. Feng Chen, however, remained unfazed, his grip tightening slightly on Bai Zhang's arm as he leaned in closer, his voice low and steady. Is that so? What will the third prince do? Send flowers to Bai Zhang's funeral. Feng Chen replied, without any fear of the third prince. Compared to the mystic flame sect or spirit wind palace, the third prince could only be said to be a child. Since he had already made an enemy out of the two sects, the third prince wasn't going to scare him. Even if he offends the third prince, so what? Moreover, if he let Bai Zhang go because of their words, other clans would think that their Feng clan is easy to provoke. Crack! Bai Zhang winced at the increased pressure, struggling against Feng Chen's grip, but the more they fought, the tighter it became. Panic set in as he felt the strength draining from his limbs, and the realization that he was outmatched crashed down on him. Stop! You're making a mistake. The elder implored, taking a step closer, his tone shifting from worry to a hint of desperation. If you harm him, the Bai clan will not take this lightly. n/o/vel/b/jn.c/om. Feng Chen decided to ignore the two elders and keep his eyes on Bai Zhang. Desperation etched into their faces, the two elders exchanged worried glances. They could see their clan leader faltering under the immense pressure of Feng Chen's grip. Bai Zhang's struggles grew weaker, and the realization that their clan was facing humiliation sent a wave of urgency through them. Enough of this! The first elder shouted, his voice rising above the murmurs of the crowd. We can't let our family head be humiliated like this. Without waiting for a response, he rushed forward, his aura flaring as he summoned his power, ready to strike Feng Chen in a last-ditch effort to save their leader. The second elder followed suit, their collective determination igniting the air around them. You think you can disrespect the Bai clan without consequences? He yelled, channeling his energy into a powerful attack aimed at Feng Chen's back. They thought that even if they were no match for Feng Chen's power, he would at least need to free his hands to deal with them. However, just as they surged forward, two figures from the Feng clan stepped into their path. Grand Elder Feng Zhenshan and Feng Jilan immediately took action when they saw the two elders from the Bai clan attack Feng Chen. The two elders from the Bai clan were undeterred by the new arrivals. Driven by arrogance, they pressed forward, convinced that they could easily defeat the one who dared to stand against them. They launched a flurry of attacks, their energies crackling with intent, eager to demonstrate their might. Clank! The sound of metal striking metal echoed through the air as Feng Zhenshan and Feng Jilan effortlessly blocked their strikes. The sheer force of their defensive maneuvers sent shockwaves through the Bai elders, forcing them to step back in disbelief. The realization struck them hard: the power they had wielded moments ago was nothing compared to the power of the Feng Grand Elders. You dash. One of the elders stammered, the words caught in his throat as the gravity of the situation sank in. They were left speechless, their arrogance dissipating in an instant as they faced the reality of their powerlessness. The two elders exchanged alarmed glances, their confidence crumbling as they realized that they couldn't even hope to defeat the elders from the Feng Clan, much less their leader, Feng Chen. From this small exchange, they were already aware that their strength was much worse than the grand elders of the Feng Clan. You thought you could humiliate us with only this strength? Feng Chen said, loud enough to be heard by everyone in the Tianlong mansion. It was a warning for both the Bai clan and others who were thinking of going against the Feng Clan. He knew that many clans at this gathering would set their sights on the Feng Clan. But unlike in the past, Feng Chen had no intention of enduring their provocations without any action. This time, he would send a clear message through strength, not patience, that the Feng Clan was not to be trifled with. If they still want to go against them, then they would end up like Bai Zhang. Bai Zhang's face contorted in pain, beads of sweat dripping down his forehead as he gritted his teeth, trying and failing to hide his agony. I'll kill you for this. He spat, though the fear in his voice betrayed him. Even his last hope, his elders, were stopped by the Feng Clan. You're not in any position to be making threats, Bai Zhang. The crowd was utterly silent now, watching as the once proud Bai Zhang was brought to his knees in front of everyone. The whispers of disdain and mockery directed at the Feng Clan were now gone, replaced by shock and disbelief. Although they knew that Feng Chen was powerful enough to kill the three elements divine realm, they didn't know that he was this powerful. To be able to render Bai Zhang powerless with physical strength alone showed just how strong Feng Chen's body was. As Bai Zhang's screams echoed in the air, Feng Chen applied a little more pressure to his arm, bending it to the point where it seemed like it would snap. You want to keep pushing, or are you ready to beg for mercy? Feng Chen asked, his tone cold. Why, you bastard? You law. Bai Zhang's defiance crumbled as the pain became unbearable. His cries for help grew louder. Desperate now, as his pride shattered in front of the gathered crowd. Just as Feng Chen was about to apply the final twist, a deep, commanding voice boomed through the mansion. Enough. The sound reverberated through the air like a thunderclap, and the attention of the crowd instantly shifted towards the voice. An imposing figure stepped forward from the mansion's grand archway. Dressed in regal robes of deep jade, his presence alone commanded respect. His eyes, sharp and discerning, swept over the scene as he strode toward Feng Chen and Bai Zhang. Master Tianlong. The crowd murmured in awe, stepping back to make way for him. Even if the clans participating in the Eastern gathering were all top in their own cities, compared to the Tianlong clan, they weren't considered powerful. Tianlong head was at the peak of the three elements divine realm, just one step away from the nascent soul realm. That made him not only one of the strongest in the Eastern region, but also in the entire Azure Sky Empire. If one day he successfully breakthroughs, then he might as well become one of the top powerful in the Azure Sky Empire. Additionally, his Tianlong clan boosted having other two members of the three elements divine realm, solidifying Tianlong's position as one of the top three strongest clans in the Eastern region. Master Tianlong's commanding voice echoed through the grand hall, but Feng Chen didn't release his grip on Bai Zhang. Instead of releasing, Feng Chen did the opposite, and further tightened his grip on Bai Zhang's wrist. Crack! Bai Zhang had thought rescue was at hand when Tianlong's master came, but instead of relief, the pain only intensified. Feng Chen remained still, his grip on Bai Zhang unwavering. His cold gaze met Master Tianlong, calm but resolute. He had no intention of backing down, even before the leader of the Tianlong clan. Humph. When Bai Zhang came to trouble us, you just stood watching. Now that I am teaching him a lesson, you dare intervene. Feng Chen has already sensed his presence, but until now, he chose to ignore this matter. But when Bai Zhang was on the receiving end, he quickly came to help him. For this act alone, Feng Chen could guess his intentions clearly. He was either an ally of Baizhang or someone who was against him, and he was more inclined to believe that he was latter than former. In any case, Feng Chen wasn't going to let Baizhang off just because Tianlong Master said so. Damn! Feng Chen's actually defying the Tianlong Master. Humph! What an arrogant fool! He's already provoked the Mystic Flame Sect, Spirit Wind Palace, and the Third Prince, and now he's going to make an enemy of the Tianlong clan too. Fame must have gotten to his head. Does he think Tianlong Master is as easy as Zhou Tianhua? Zhou Tianhua's main profession was alchemy, unlike the Tianlong Master who excelled in fighting. We can just think of this as a rotten egg being eliminated. The crowd, largely unsympathetic toward the Feng Clan, sneered and mocked them, relishing the chance to insult Feng Chen for refusing to heed Master Tianlong's command. However, there were other clans who neither supported nor were against the Feng Clan. One of them was the Yuan clan. Comparable in strength to the Tianlong clan, the Yuan clan was regarded as one of the top 3 most powerful clans in the eastern region. Yuan Hao, the head of the Yuan clan, watched the conflict between Feng Chen and Tianlong Master with interest. Although his daughter, Yuan Xian, was one of the disciples of Mystic Flame Sect, he wasn't necessarily against the Feng Clan. So what if his daughter's sect has a problem with the Feng Clan? He didn't care and wasn't interested in flattering the Mystic Flame Sect by going against Feng Clan. This Feng Chen is interesting. Yuan Hao muttered to himself. From Feng Chen's defiance against Tianlong Qi, Yuan speculated that Feng Chen must possess significant strength that wasn't less than Tianlong Qi. Moreover, he was impressed by Feng Chen's boldness in standing up to Tianlong Qi. Not everyone has the guts to go against the Tianlong clan. Though he thought it was expected of Feng Chen, who dared to kill the Mystic Flame Sect Elder and Spirit Wind Palace Elder. Master Tianlong's sharp gaze swept over Feng Chen as the tension between the two leaders became palpable. The air seemed to crackle with the unspoken conflict, and the crowd held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Feng Chen's grip on Baizhang remained firm, even tightening further, causing another sickening crack to echo through the hall. Baizhang screamed once more, his body writhing in agony. Desperate for salvation, he turned his pleading eyes toward Tianlong Qi, silently begging for help. Master Tianlong's eyes flickered with a mix of irritation and anger at Baizhang. Idiot! Tianlong Qi thought angrily. He thought that Baizhang would be able to take care of the Feng Clan, but it turned out to be the opposite. As Feng Chen thought, Tianlong was targeting Feng Clan, and the reason was because they have a close relationship with Spirit Wind Palace. However, as the event's host, he couldn't openly target the Feng Clan. Thus, when the Bai clan sought to cause trouble, he happily refrained from intervening. The outcome, however, was the Bai clan being crushed by Feng Chen. If this continues, not only will Feng Clan gain more prestige, but his Tianlong mansion will face disgrace for failing to maintain order. So Tianlong Qi had no choice but to step forward and intervene. He initially believed that Feng Chen would back down once he made his presence known, but to his surprise, Feng Chen only tightened his grip, showing no intention of yielding. Feng Chen, Master Tianlong began, his voice carrying the weight of authority. This is not the time nor the place for such actions. The Bai clan may have provoked you, but I am the host of this event, and I will not have you disrupt the event. Feng Chen met his gaze, his expression fearless. He. Then where were you when Bai Zhang sought to trouble us? I didn't see you when Bai Zhang or his elders attacked me. Feng Chen said, his cold eyes locked with Master Tianlong. The crowd stirred at Feng Chen's bold words, and they could see that Feng Chen really had no intention of listening to Tianlong Master. Master Tianlong's expression darkened, but he kept his composure. I understand your grievances, Feng Chen, he said, keeping his cool. He knew that he couldn't get angry at Feng Chen's words otherwise. The would lose his prestige. But this is the Eastern gathering. If we allow personal conflicts to spill into this event, it will descend into chaos. Feng Chen snorted, not letting go of Bai Zhang. Chaos? He asked mockingly. It seems only now that you care about order. But when the Bai clan's arrogance threatened /o/vel/b/jn.c//om. Us you were content to watch. Another crack echoed as Feng Chen twisted Bai Zhang's wrist further, drawing another agonized scream from him. The sound sent a chill through the crowd. Bai Zhang's voice was hoarse from pain, his face pale. His body trembled, utterly powerless in Feng Chen's grasp. Master Tianlong's gaze hardened. Feng Chen, release him. The words were spoken quietly, but the authority behind them was undeniable. Yet, Feng Chen remained unmoved, his grip steady. And if I refuse? Feng Chen's cold gaze bore into Tianlong Qi, his lips curling into a defiant smirk as he stared the man down, daring him to make a move. The crowd sucked in a mouthful of cool air. This move by Feng Chen was considered a blatant provocation for Tianlong Qi. Tianlong Qi's face instantly darkened by 3 degrees, as he listened to the fearless words of Feng Chen. Has Feng Chen truly lost his mind? He's truly challenging the Tianlong master outright. This isn't a battle he can win. Does he think that Tianlong Qi is someone he can compete with? He just keeps searching for his death. The other clan was surprised that Feng Chen was repeatedly going against Tianlong master, showing that he was really not afraid of the Tianlong clan. N/o/vel/b/jn.c//om. Yuan Hao, leader of the Yuan clan, also watched intently from the sidelines. His expression was inscrutable, but there was a glint of amusement in his eyes. The conflict unfolding before him seemed to entertain rather than concern him. He leaned slightly toward one of his elders. Feng Chen's boldness is commendable. Not many would dare stand against the Tianlong clan. The elder nodded quickly. Yes, master. But do you think this will escalate? Yuan Hao's lips curled into a faint smile. It already has. Yuan Hao said as he continued watching the conflict. Good Feng Clan. Good Feng Chen, I didn't expect you to really have some balls. Tianlong Qi's tone was chillingly cold. Feng Chen smiled blandly, completely ignoring Tianlong Qi's words. Master Tianlong's face was stone, but his aura began to swell, a subtle warning to everyone present. This is not a negotiation, Feng Chen. I said you release him, and for your own good, you should do what I say. Tianlong Qi said, which was followed by releasing his powerful qi in the hope that it could pressurize Feng Chen. His powerful qi was felt by the other people nearby, who were shocked by how powerful and oppressive Tianlong Qi's aura was. Even those who were in the top stage of the 3 elements divine realm were intimidated by Tianlong. Tianlong master is truly one of the strongest in the eastern region. Just his qi alone is enough to make me kneel. Looks like his strength has increased again. It wouldn't be long before he breakthroughs to nascent soul realm. This Feng Chen should be regretting, now that Tianlong master has decided to take action. However, how can Feng Chen, who is in nascent soul realm, be affected by 3 elements divine realm qi? He just sneered at Tianlong, who seemed to think that he could intimidate him with his qi. Ha ha. Do you think you can scare me with your little strength? Feng Chen mocked. He didn't want to show off his power, but it seemed that for this group of idiots to learn their place, he needed to do so. For a second, Tianlong Qi was surprised by how unaffected Feng Chen was by his aura, but then he got even angrier at Feng Chen's words. Never before had he been humiliated like this. Even the most powerful sects in the empire showed him some respect, so how could a mere clan from the eastern region, barely worth mentioning, disrespect him so openly? Just how could Feng Chen be nonchalantly before my qi? Was the information about Feng Chen that I got wrong? Tianlong Qi thought for a second. With his peak 3-element divine realm aura, he was certain that Feng Chen would be scared enough to let Bai Zhang go. But it seems like nothing was going as planned today. And he began to doubt the authenticity of the information that Spirit Wind Palace had given to him about the Feng Clan. He slowly calmed down and retracted his chi. He concluded that he couldn't threaten Feng Chen and that doing more than this would only harm his image. Feng Chen, this is the Eastern Gathering, and we can't allow you to treat Bai Zhang like this. How about we have the Bai clan compensate you for their actions? Tianlong Qi continued. How about they give you 100,000 gold coins and you forget about this incident? Tianlong Qi said. Tianlong Master, you can't, Bai Zhang didn't want to accept that. Today, not only did he get humiliated and tortured like this, but he still needs to compensate the one who tortured him like this. Moreover, 100,000 gold coins was a hefty sum even for the Bai clan. Okay. I agree. However, when the pain in his wrist increased, he couldn't help but agree. Even Tianlong Master couldn't make Feng Chen yield, so he doesn't have any other choice other than to accept Tianlong Master's offer. Crack. But Feng Chen just increased his strength, and Bai Zhang suffered even more torture. Feng Chen, I said that I agree. Let me go, You agreed, but did I? Feng Chen simply replied with those words. Tianlong Master's face darkened again. This was the biggest concession that he was going to make. Not only did he ignore Feng Chen's earlier defiance, but also gave him good compensation. Even after all this, Feng Chen was refusing his goodwill. Tianlong Qi couldn't help but get angrier. Feng Chen, what more do you want? Do you think that you can continue wasting everyone's time here? Master Tianlong thought to himself. The only way he could deal with Feng Chen now was by turning the other clans against him. Humph. Do you think I wanted any of this? Feng Chen scoffed. If not for Bai Zhang, I wouldn't have bothered. Do you really think I'm so bored as to torture him like this? Feng Chen continued. Alright then, since I also don't want to waste my time with him, I'll agree with the compensation, but the price needs to be increased. 200,000 gold coins, no less. Feng Chen finished saying those words when Bai Zhang, who was almost kneeling in front of Feng Chen, was about to cry. 200,000? Are you kidding me? He thought that 100,000 gold coins was already an extortion, but he had no choice but to agree. But this 200,000 gold coins would be equivalent to emptying his treasurer and bankrupting Bai clan. Feng Chen, you are simply robbing me, Bai Zhang said before wailing in pain. Who told you to start making trouble with me if you can't afford it? Feng Chen replied coldly. Bai Zhang felt like crying when he heard Feng Chen's words. If he could go back in time then, even if he had 10 lives, he wouldn't have offended Feng Chen. Who told him to follow the third prince's instruction? Who told him that Feng Chen was some coward who used tricks to deal with Zhou Tianhua? Damn. I can only hope the third prince compensates me for all this trouble. Bai Zhang thought to himself. With no choice but to comply with Feng Chen's demands, his only comfort was that his backer, the third prince, would help him after this. Okay. I promise to give you 200,000 gold coins. Please, release me. Bai Zhang pleaded, his voice trembling as he felt the pressure on his wrist intensify. With a wave of his hand, Feng Chen loosened his grip. Bai Zhang stumbled back, gasping for breath, his face pale from the lingering pain. You're free to go, but remember this, Bai Zhang, Feng Chen warned. If you ever think about making trouble for me again, I won't be so generous next time. Bai Zhang nodded vigorously, thinking that even if God commanded him, he wouldn't do so. I understand. I won't bother you again. He stammered, his mind racing with thoughts of escape. As Bai Zhang made his way back through the crowd, the eyes of the onlookers followed him, filled with a mix of disdain and pity. Who would have thought that the mighty Bai clan would suffer such humiliation? They have totally lost their face, and their reputation would only get worse after this event. But who could they blame? They could only blame themselves for making such a decision. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. After the intense confrontation between Feng Chen and Tianlongqi, the atmosphere of the Eastern gathering gradually returned to normal, though the tension still lingered in the air like an unspoken threat. As Tianlongqi, the crowd slowly dispersed, murmuring quietly amongst themselves about what had just transpired. Feng Chen and the Feng Clan's grand elders' strength surprised many of them, especially those who underestimated them. No matter how much the rumors spread, Feng Chen, who looked young, wasn't someone who they thought could be very powerful. Only after this incident, they started to look at Feng Chen from different angles. He was young but at the same time was a powerful leader who bowed to no one. No matter what though, the other clans started distancing themselves from the Feng Clan. They neither wanted to offend the Tianlong clan and others who were against the Feng Clan, but at the same time, they also did not want to offend the Feng Clan after what happened. Most of the clans present had strengths that were comparable to those of the Bai clan or weaker. They knew better than to go and provoke a fight with Feng Chen, especially after what had happened. What happened right now was truly a blessing for those clans who thought of making things difficult for the Feng Clan just to falter Mystic Flame sect. They silently thanked the luck that Bai Zhang had acted first, sparing them from the same fate. Seeing the outcome of his actions, they couldn't help but think it could have easily been their clan in the Bai clan's position. In any case, every clan that had intended to use the Feng Clan to curry favor with the Mystic Flame sect was quickly abandoning that idea. On the other hand, Bai clan had become one of the outcasts with many of the clan distancing themselves from them. After what happened, it was certain that nobody wanted to associate themselves with the Bai clan. After Tianlongqi left, Feng Clan was left alone, and there wasn't any clan coming to meet them. Feng Chen wasn't also interested in making friends with them either. He had just come because there was no one in Misty Vale City other than Feng Clan who could attend this event. Other than that, he wasn't interested in building alliances or any of that stuff with other clans. And because it was their first time in the Eastern gathering, there wasn't anyone that he knew either. So he just found a quiet place to sit and wait for the event to start. Other members of the Feng Clan also followed suit and sat around the table after Feng Chen and Grand Elder took their seats. Similar to Feng Chen, there wasn't anyone that they knew and could only talk among themselves. Of course, they did look around and check the other clans, especially the younger ones whom they would be competing with. In any case, they just talked among themselves while waiting for other clans to show up, and then have the event started. No sooner after the incident did Yuan Zian, the daughter of Yuan Hao, arrive with Hu Lian and Yuan Ling. Usually, she spent most of her time cultivating at the Mystic Flame sect, rarely having the chance to enjoy a leisurely stroll. Since it was her free time after so long, she was going around and looking around Qingyun City. It was only when it was time for the event to start that she returned to Tianlong Mansion. Yuan Zian scanned the crowd, searching for her father, and soon spotted him engaged in conversation with the elders. As she made her way toward him, she noticed that the atmosphere of the gathering had changed from before. "Dad, why is the atmosphere so tense?" Yuan Zian asked, noticing the unusual atmosphere. Normally, before the event starts, clans would be happily conversing and mingling with one another. But right now, everyone seemed tense as if something had happened to put them on edge. "Ha ha. Indeed something happened," Yuan Hao said with a look of amusement. "And it has to do with them." Yuan Hao pointed his finger toward the Feng Clan. Yuan Zian followed her father's finger, and saw the Feng Clan standing apart from the rest of the gathering. At first, she didn't know which clan it was because it was her first time seeing them in the Eastern gathering. But then Feng on their banner soon caught her eyes, and her eyes widened in surprise. "Feng Yun." Yuan Zian blurted out involuntarily when she realized it was the Feng Clan, the same clan Feng Yun, Ling Meiyu's ex-fiancé, belonged to. At the same time, Feng Yun, who was flirting with Feng Mei, turned his head as he seemed to have heard someone call out his name. Though seeing nobody coming towards him or calling him again, he thought that he might be hearing things. Feng Clan. Where? Hulian, who heard Yuan Zian, excitedly asked and looked around. She was excited to be able to finally see the boy who divorced the greatest genius of Azure Sky Empire. Yuanling also looked in the direction that his sister was looking and soon found the Feng Clan. Their clan leader is indeed very young. Yuna Long muttered. Usually, the head of a clan is usually in their 60th if not at least 50, and this is especially true for those clans with 3 elements divine realm. So finding Feng Chen, who is so young as the head, was definitely an odd picture, especially considering that most clan leaders who attended the gathering were old. Yuan Zian gave a good look towards the Feng Clan, trying to look for Feng Yun. Of course, even if she knew where Feng Clan was, she didn't know who Feng Yun was. However, she did catch sight of a particularly handsome young man among them, and gave him a second look, though she didn't realize he was Feng Yun. So, Dad, what happened here? Yuan Zian asked, now curious about what the Feng Clan did to make the atmosphere so tense here. Yuan Hao slowly explained what transpired before they arrived and also complimented Feng Chen, much to Yuan Zian's dismay. Although she has a problem with Feng Yun, because of his association with the Feng Clan, she will have a bad impression of the entire Feng Clan including Feng Chen. The same went for Feng Yun and the other members of the Feng Clan. Due to Ling Meiyu and some of their disciples who had come to break off the engagement with Feng Yun, they had developed a negative impression of the entire Mystic Flame sect. Even those who hadn't participated in, or were unaware of Ling Meiyu's actions would still be looked down upon by the Feng Clan because of her. So when her father complimented Feng Chen, the more gloomy Yuan Zian became. Dad, can you please stop complimenting them? They are just a bunch of ignorant people who don't know their place. Yuan Zian said. After hearing the full story, even if Bai Clan was clearly at fault because of her negative impression, she still thought that it was Feng Clan's fault. Hee. Well, whether they are ignorant or not, who can tell? For one, I can safely say that it was Bai Zhang who was ignorant this time and suffered the most. Before long, other clans started to arrive at Tianlong Mansion. Just like Yuan Zian, many people who arrived after the incident between Bai Zhang and Feng Chen were confused about the atmosphere of the place and asked their friends about it. The people who knew about the incident slowly explained, and some even warned them to stay away from Feng Clan. They were shocked to learn what happened, and the eyes at which they looked at Feng Clan had also changed. Many of the people subconsciously looked down on the Feng Clan due to them offending the Mystic Flame sect. But only now do they know that Feng Clan wasn't someone that they could mess with. In addition, many people were in awe when they saw Feng Chen, who was very young. A young man who has broken through the 3 elements divine realm and killed Elder Zhou Tianhua. His potential was immense. Of course, no matter what, they still refrained from talking to them, but at the same time, didn't think about creating problems with them as well. As night finally descended, the gates to the pavilion were opened wide, inviting all the clan leaders and their representatives to take their places. The flickering light of lanterns illuminated the grand structure of Tianlong Mansion, casting long shadows over the vast courtyard. The pavilion, at the heart of the estate, stood as a symbol of the Tianlong clan's power and wealth. Indeed, Tianlong Mansion was far larger and more extravagant than Feng Mansion. Its towering walls and intricately designed roofs stretched high into the night sky, draped with banners of gold and crimson that fluttered in the cool evening breeze. Where Feng Mansion was modest yet refined, Tianlong Mansion was an extravagant display of luxury. Precious jade tiles adorned the floors and rare, ancient artifacts were displayed in every room. The pavilion itself, a multi-tiered structure with carved dragon columns and polished jade staircases, was vast enough to accommodate hundreds of people without feeling cramped. First-timers were shocked by the wealth of the Tianlong clan, including those from the Feng Clan. Wow! Feng Mei muttered as she looked around in awe. This was the first time she had seen such an extravagant mansion. Others were also the same, including Feng Zhinshan and Feng Zhilan. Despite being over 70 years old, they had spent most of their lives in Misty Vale City. Indeed, this is the Tianlong clan. The wealth possessed by them is unimaginable. Feng Chen said. Despite becoming the richest in Misty Vale City, such extravagance was beyond his imagination. He hoped that his Feng Clan would continue growing, and one day reach such a stage. Feng Clan juniors were the same, determined to make the Feng Clan grow, and become like the Tianlong clan. As for Feng Chen, there wasn't much surprise on his face. Compared to those mansions in the capital, this is nothing. Feng Chen thought. Because of his parents, he has gone to the capital where they visit the Ling estate, which has an even bigger and marvelous mansion than this. There were also many mansions comparable to Tianlong Mansion in the capital, so he wasn't surprised to see such a mansion. Thinking about the Ling clan, Feng Chen sighed. Ling Jian has treated Feng Chen with the love and care of a real uncle. He doesn't know what he or his parents would think if they knew about the divorce between Ling Meiyu and Feng Yun. He thought that if his parents were around, they would surely be saddened by that. I don't know what Ling Jian thinks though. Feng Chen knew that the Ling family had agreed to Ling Meiyu's coming to break off the engagement, but was not sure about Ling Jian himself. Feng Chen only knows that Ling Jian is injured as Ling Meiyu said, or it could also be a lie said to avoid saying the real reason. Maybe he supported, or even if he didn't, he might not have stopped Ling Meiyu. There were also chances that he didn't even know about it. In any case, Feng Chen thought that he would get those answers soon, when he went to the capital for 2 years. The central space was arranged in tiers, with the most prominent clans seated closer to the dais, where the Eastern Gatherings host would soon stand to announce the rules and objectives of this year's event. As each clan took their seats, whispers rippled through the crowd. They were mostly discussing the clan that is most likely to be crowned the champion of this event. There were 3 names that were mostly brought up: the Tianlong clan, the Yuan clan, and the Yunhai clan. Tianlong clan was on the top of the list because they not only had Tianlong Qi, who is peak of 3 elements divine realm, but also Tianlong Yu, who is an inner disciple of spirit wind. Palace. The Yuan clan was the same, and although Yuan Hao was considered to be weaker than Tianlong Qi, his daughter Yuan Xian was much stronger than Tianlong Yu. There was also Yuan Ling participating, who is said to be comparable to Tianlong Yu. So, although the Tianlong clan might have an advantage when the leader of each clan participates, when it comes to the competition between the juniors, Yuan clan has the advantage. Lastly, the Yunhai clan can be said to be the family of alchemists. They were also a part of the Alchemist Alliance of Azure Sky Empire. There was no shortage of second-grade alchemists in their clan, and they were also the richest clan in the eastern region due to that. Not only do they have resources that can be used to easily raise the cultivation, but their soul power is very high, due to which they excel in mind techniques. People with low soul power, even if they have higher cultivation, could only fall before Yunhai clan's technique. Finally, as the last of the clans got seated, the host of the Eastern Gathering, an elder from the Tianlong clan, stepped onto the dais.n/o/vel/b/jn.c/om. His white robes flowed elegantly, and his presence commanded immediate attention. The crowd fell silent. The elder was none other than Tianlong Zhen, an early stage 3 elements divine realm. Tianlong Zhen stood tall on the dais, his piercing gaze sweeping across the gathered clans. His white robes shimmered in the lantern light, and an air of authority surrounded him, as he raised a hand for silence. The murmurs in the grand pavilion quickly died down, and all eyes turned toward him. Esteemed leaders and young talents of the eastern region, Tianlong Zhen's voice was steady and commanding, resonating through the open courtyard. We welcome you to this year's Eastern Gathering. It is a time for the finest of our younger generation to prove their mettle and bring glory to their clans. The rules of the competition remain the same, Tianlong Zhen continued. First, there would be 3 rounds between geniuses of each clan, and depending on their position, each clan would earn points. Then there will be a competition between the clan leaders, which will also give points to the clan depending on their position. The overall ranking of the clans will be based on those points. Everyone already knew about this, as this is what has been happening for decades. Just that there would be differences in what those competitions would be. Apart from that, most of the time, Eastern Gathering competitions consist of such parts. Now, before we get on with the first round, let's welcome the honored guest who has come to witness this wonderful competition. The crowd stirred in anticipation as Tianlongjin announced the arrival of the honored guest. Whispers filled the air, speculation running wild about who this esteemed figure could be. For Tianlongjin to show such respect, they knew that the person would be someone with a higher standing than the Tianlong clan. As if on cue, the doors to the pavilion swung open, and an elderly figure stepped forward. His silver beard flowed down his chest, and his posture, though aged, exuded an aura of immense power. The old man wore simple robes of white and blue, yet the energy surrounding him was unmistakable, the aura of someone who was very powerful. Behold, the esteemed guest of this year's Eastern gathering, Grand Elder Rindaoyu from Spirit Wind Palace. Tianlongjin announced with great reverence. A hushed awe fell over the crowd. Rindaoyu's name was known throughout the empire. As a Grand Elder of Spirit Wind Palace, one of the most prestigious sects in the Azure Sky Empire, his presence alone was a symbol of immense authority and influence. Even the strongest clans would bow in respect to a figure of his stature. This is also the reason why the people who saw Grand Elder Rindaoyu became excited. Grand Elder from Spirit Wind Palace has come to Eastern Gathering. Is it the first time? Yeah, normally they would never bother with these events themselves. At most, they would send their elders, but Grand Elder? Never. Ha ha. My son has a chance to get into Spirit Wind Palace. The Grand Elder will definitely recruit my son after seeing his talent. He might even become his personal disciple. Yeah. Dream on. Is your son's talent worth becoming a personal disciple of the Grand Elder of Spirit Wind Palace? Even those geniuses in the capital struggle to become one. But why is he here now? To that question, many of them looked at the Feng Clan with pity, while others, like the Bai Clan, wore expressions of smug satisfaction. Feng Chen also looked up to see this Grand Elder from Spirit Wind Palace with curiosity. The rest of the Feng Clan was nervous. With Feng Chen having killed Elder Zhou Tianhua, one didn't need to know why one of the Grand Elders of Spirit Wind Palace was there. They were sure that this Grand Elder must be there to trouble the Feng Clan. Feng Chen, on the other hand, was relatively relaxed with even some signs of amusement. Grand Elder. Just at the top of three elements divine realm. Feng Chen thought. He would have been troubled if Spirit Wind Palace sent one of their nascent soul realm, but three elements divine realm was no longer an opponent for him. The murmurs of the crowd quieted as Tianlongjin stepped forward once more. Grand Elder Rindaoyu has graced us with his presence to witness the talents of the Eastern region's finest. We are honored by his presence and hope that the performances today will be worthy of his esteemed attention. Rindaoyu nodded ever so slightly, his eyes still scanning the crowd. I look forward to seeing the younger generation prove their worth. He said, his voice low but resonating with authority. This time not only did I come here to witness the competition, but also to select 3 disciples for our Spirit Wind Palace. The moment Rindaoyu's words echoed through the pavilion, a ripple of excitement surged through the crowd. Selecting disciples for the prestigious Spirit Wind Palace was a rare and coveted opportunity, one that could change the fate of any clan or individual. The murmurs grew louder, filled with both awe and ambition. 3 disciples, someone whispered in disbelief. That's unheard of. It's the chance of a lifetime, another said, eyes glinting with hope. Among the clans, the tension heightened. A spot in Spirit Wind Palace would bring unimaginable honor and power, not just to the individual but to their entire clan. Humph. Feng Yun, who heard this, snorted. He, like many, knew that the Grand Elder was there to deal with their Feng Clan despite the claim that he was there to select disciples. Does a Grand Elder really need to come to recruit mere disciples? After that, Grand Elder Rin slowly walked towards the seat near Tianlongqi which was prepared beforehand. The Shui clan of Frostwind Valley greets Grand Elder Rindaoyu, wishing you an endless legacy of greatness. The Sun clan from Silver Peak pays its respects to Grand Elder Rin, may your influence shine like the sun across the land. The Wu clan of Thunder Gorge salutes Grand Elder Rin, may your path be as smooth as the flowing rivers of time. Many clans presented their compliments with eagerness, hoping their words would catch the Grand Elder's favor, knowing that his acknowledgement could change their futures. Ren Daoyu nodded slightly, a small smile playing on his lips. He was truly pleased to have people compliment him. This is our Wu clan's greatest genius, Wu Shi. He is already in the core formation stage and destined to become one of the strongest. Our Sun genius is also in the core formation stage, and his age is only 19 years old. Of course, they also started introducing their geniuses in the hope of catching Grand Elder Ren's eyes, and having him select their geniuses as his disciple. Ren Daoyu's expression remained calm, as the various clans eagerly introduced their so-called geniuses, each trying to outshine the other in the hopes of catching his favor. N/O/vel/b/jn.c/om. The Grand Elder listened to their claims, the smile on his face faint but polite, as though he'd heard this all before. After all, for someone of his status, these talents were mere sparks in a sea of flames. The pavilion quieted again as Ren Daoyu raised a hand. His voice, though gentle, cut through the air with authority. Talented young warriors are the lifeblood of a strong sect, he said. If your performances today are exceptional, your talent will not go unnoticed. As I said, I came here to select at least 3 disciples, but if you can perform well, I don't mind increasing the quota. The hopeful expressions of the clan leaders faltered slightly, but they quickly regained their composure. They knew that to gain the approval of the Grand Elder, words and claims alone would never be enough. They need to show him that their genius was worthy of being a disciple of Spirit Wind Palace. Once the clans had finished greeting Ren Daoyu, and the atmosphere settled down, Tianlongzhen stepped forward once again. His voice, sharp and clear, rang through the pavilion. Now the grand competition will begin. Those under 20 will go through the pillar of aptitude. As he spoke, the crowd watched intently, their curiosity piqued as they saw an enormous stone staircase materialize in the center of the competition ground. Before you is the pillar of aptitude, Tianlongzhen announced, gesturing toward the towering staircase. 20 steps, each one steeper and heavier than the last. The higher you climb, the more your body will be weighed down by a powerful pressure that tests not only your physical endurance, but also your mental fortitude. His words sent ripples of excitement through the younger participants, though there were some who visibly trembled at the challenge ahead. This was commonly chosen as the first test in every part of Azure Sky Empire. Because this challenge clearly shows the talent and perseverance one has, which is very important for cultivators. Another reason why this was selected was because this challenge mostly takes 1 hour to complete, so it is just enough for starting a competition. Feng Yun, standing alongside the other Feng Clan members, gazed at the stone staircase with a hint of excitement in his eyes. This was the first time that they had seen something like this. In their clan or Misty Vale City, the only way for one to find talent would be through fights. They didn't know just how they would fare against others, and were excited to find out. "Ah, it's this again." One of the older Bai clan members muttered under his breath with a hint of disappointment. Although his cultivation and strength were better than most, he always ended up losing to those weaker people. He was stronger than them, so he didn't understand why he could only climb to the 5th step while they could go to the 6th and 7th steps in the pillar of aptitude. Last time, the highest anyone reached was the 11th step. He said with envy. That person, although didn't win the 2nd and 3rd rounds, ended up getting recruited by Spirit Wind Palace due to having climbed the 11th step. Pillar of aptitude is vastly used throughout the Azure Sky Empire, including those sects, to gauge the talent of the people. And for those who reach the 10th step, the sect is willing to recruit them. Some even directly make them core disciples, because those who climb to the 10th step are considered to have the potential to at least reach the Grand Qi Condensation realm. Feng Chen also looked at the pillar of aptitude with a smile. He remembered having climbed this pillar of aptitude in the capital when he and his family visited Lingjian in the capital. Was I 10 at the time? Feng Chen remembered that there was a fancy pillar in the middle of capital city where people were climbing the stairs. Later on, he learned that it was a way for one to know the talent of a person, and just how far they will go in their cultivation journey. Feng Chen naturally became curious and sneakily climbed the stairs when no one was around. And the result? He had climbed to the highest stair. Now he thinks about it, Feng Chen thought that it was because he has a memory of his previous life and naturally has more perseverance than his peers. At that age in cultivation, the pressure he felt wasn't much, and only after the 15th stage did the struggle a bit. Feng Chen concluded that his success was more a result of his perseverance and mature mindset rather than sheer talent. If he were to assess his talent objectively, he believed he would only manage to reach the 15th step at most. However, due to his perseverance, which was unnatural for a 10-year-old, he was able to make it to the top. If he did now, Feng Chen thought that it might be different. He might not be able to climb as far high as he did when he was little. However, he will never know because this pillar of aptitude is only for those under the 3 elements divine realm. 11th steps. Damn. The most I could climb previously was only the 6 steps. Looks like I can't win this. This is my first time, but I don't think climbing these steps would be hard. Humph. What do you know? This step is harder to climb than it looks. Don't think cultivation is of any use here. The higher the cultivation, the more pressure you will feel. One of them explained with disdain. He was also thinking the same when it was their first time, thinking that they could easily climb to the 10th step and be recruited in some sect. However, reality was often disappointing, and they tried their best only to be around 6 steps. Then only did they understand just how hard it was to climb to the 10th step. Tianlongzhen raised a hand, silencing the murmurs of the crowd. The rules are simple. The one who climbs the highest will get 50 points, and the second one will get 45 points, followed by 40 points for third position, and so on and so forth. But remember, each step is a test of your will and perseverance. Do not think this is a mere show of strength. Tianlongzhen continued. Now, then, every participant below 20 years of age should come here and get ready. We will end the test in 1 hour, and the points for each clan will be calculated according to each member. Tianlongzhen's voice faded as the young geniuses from each clan began stepping forward toward the pillar of aptitude. Among the Feng Clan, 5 figures stood out, each with a determined expression. Brother, I will go first then. Brother Chen, I will not disappoint you. Family head, we promise you to get the top position for our clan. Family head, I will definitely climb above the 10th steps. Family master, I make sure that I don't get left behind. Feng Chen, standing at the front, was happy to see their determination. He could already see from his eyes of insight that they would do great and wasn't very worried. Though he was a bit worried for Feng Jianhong, who although has good talent wasn't very talented compared to Feng Xiaoyu or Feng Liang, much less Feng Mei or Feng Yun. He would definitely feel down if he was left out by other Feng members, even if he could climb higher than others. But this pillar of aptitude wasn't just about talent but also about perseverance. Although his talents weren't comparable to those of other Feng Clan participants, Feng Chen believed that his perseverance would surely help him climb higher. Feng Jianhong has always been less talented than them, but so what? Didn't he reach the core formation stage just as well? He was even faster than Feng Liang, who was more talented, and was also a bit older. Despite the odds, Feng Jianhong surpassed him. N/O/vel/b/jn.c//jn.c/om. How? Feng Chen knew the answer. Although Feng Jianhong liked to mess around, he was well aware of his inferior talent compared to Feng Liang or Feng Mei. Therefore, the only thing he could do was put more effort into cultivation so as to not lag behind. Feng Jianhong thought that if his rival were twice as talented as him, then he could only work twice as hard in order to not get left behind. Feng Chen had seen Feng Jianhong training multiple times late at night, even when no one was around. This is one of the reasons why Feng Chen believes that Feng Jianhong has one of the best perseverance. The only exception was Feng Yun, whose unwavering willpower stemmed from the time he was labeled as trash. During that period, he worked tirelessly despite his cultivation showing no signs of improvement, demonstrating remarkable perseverance. Feng Chen's lips curled into a subtle smile as he addressed his clan's younger generation. I have faith in each of you. Now go and show everyone the strength of the Feng Clan. Feng Yun stood at the front of the Feng Clan's younger generation, his eyes fixed on the towering pillar of aptitude. His heartbeat quickened with excitement, but his expression remained calm and focused. Beside him, Feng Xiaoyu, Feng Mei, Feng Liang, and Feng Jianhong each bore expressions of determination. Feng Yun glanced at his fellow clan members and smirked slightly, feeling the energy and anticipation in the air. This is going to be interesting, Feng Yun said with a quiet chuckle. Ha ha. Indeed. This will be a good chance to show those clans what we can do, Feng Liang said. He was more eager than anyone else to prove himself since he came to this Tianlong mansion. From being mocked and looked down by crowds outside to the clans inside, he has been powerless most of the time. But now, it was time for him to do something and make them regret mocking their Feng clan. Feng Jianhong, standing next to him, nodded. As the group continued to converse, the other participants around them also murmured in excitement. However, unbeknownst to Feng Yun and others, Yuan Zian was secretly watching them since they had come to Pillar of Aptitude. From their conversation, she still couldn't figure out who the ex-fiancé of Ling Meiyu was. She thought that she might be able to identify him, or that someone would call him, but neither happened. Humph. In any case, she was determined more than ever to let him know his place and make him realize the vast gap between him and her junior sister. Did you hear? Yuan Zian intentionally raised her voice loud enough for Feng Yun to hear her. Of course, she pretended to be talking with Hu Lian and Yuan Ling. My junior sister, Ling Meiyu, reached the 17th step of the Pillar of Aptitude during her selection as a disciple of the Mystic Flame sect. No one in our sect's history has ever climbed higher. Her words sent ripples of shock through the crowd. 17 steps. Someone exclaimed, shocked by the feat. He was someone who had climbed the Pillar of Aptitude before, and knew just how hard it was. So it came as a big surprise to know that someone could climb to the 17th step. That's incredible. Awesome. Worthy to be known as the #1 genius of Azure Sky Empire. Her future achievement would certainly be more extraordinary. TSK. TSK. We are called geniuses by our clans, but compared to peerless genius like Miss Ling, we are nothing. The crowd began to discuss this matter, and this included Feng Yun and the others. Ling Meiyu. Feng Yun's eyes narrowed slightly and turned towards Yuan Zian. Of course, as the one who will be challenging Ling Meiyu in 3 years, he was naturally interested in Yuan Zian's words as soon as he heard the name Ling Meiyu. Humph. So what? Does she think that only Ling Meiyu could climb to the 17th step? Feng Mei's expression darkened upon hearing Yuan Zian's words, her voice laced with anger. It was rare for her to lose her composure, but the name Ling Meiyu was enough to ignite her fury. Whenever she heard the name Ling Meiyu, it always reminded her of Feng Yun's humiliation at the hands of that woman. Her disdain became unmistakable, surfacing clearly for all to see. She also became more determined to climb the Pillar of Aptitude and reach even 17 steps and show everyone that Ling Meiyu is no one special. Naturally. We cannot lose to that B*TCH. Feng Jianhong added with a curse. He could also not help but curse when he saw people complimenting Ling Meiyu. Being peerless is okay, but how could she be so arrogant as to disrespect elders? He could never forgive her for what she did on Feng Chen's birthday. A day of celebration turned into mockery due to her. However, remember to always keep your head cool. Climbing Pillar of Aptitude isn't something easy, and keep in mind that our performance will affect the ranking of our clan. Feng Liang warned. Although determined, one also needed to keep a cool head in order to avoid making mistakes. Others also nodded to Liang's words. After all, it was true that their state of mind was affected after hearing Ling Meiyu's name. Feng Yun then glared at Yuan Ziyan with disdain. From the way she addressed Ling Meiyu, anyone could tell that Yuan Ziyan was a disciple of the mystic flame sect. Moreover, from the relationship between the two, Feng Yun could easily guess that Yuan Ziyan must be very close to Ling Meiyu. And that she intentionally talked about it so that he could hear it. Humph. Do you think Ling Meiyu is such a peerless genius that I don't deserve her? NOVLB //JNN. I wonder if anyone here can match that. One of the participants mused. It's no small feat to go beyond 10 steps, let alone 17. I guess that it should be the highest in the entire Azure Sky Empire as well. As the topic of Ling Meiyu having climbed 17th step began discussing, people also wondered whether she was the one with the highest stair climbed on Pillar of Aptitude. Of course, they didn't have any idea, and soon turned to Yuan Ziyan for an answer. Since she was a disciple of Mystic Flame Sect, they knew that she knew more than them. Miss Yuan, is there anyone who has climbed higher than 17 steps on the Pillar of Aptitude? One of them asked. Yes, there is one indeed. Yuan Ziyan replied. Who? The participants asked simultaneously. They thought that Miss Ling was already an unreachable existence, but is there someone who even surpassed her? They couldn't believe it. That I don't know. Yuan Ziyan answered, which confused many of them. How can one know whether one has climbed higher, or not, but doesn't know who it was? Seeing the confusion, Yuan Ziyan quickly explained. As you know, each participant who will be climbing will have their names written and shown on that board. That board will keep a record of the people according to the ranking. Yuan Ziyan continued. In the capital, someone has climbed to the 20th step, but didn't leave any name. So in the capital's Pillar of Aptitude, there is a blank in the top name, but the number of steps recorded was 20. Yuan Ziyan also thought about it. She also couldn't believe that when she heard that the highest that someone has climbed was 20th step, and that no one knows who he or she is. However, it was undeniable that someone has indeed climbed the 20th step, as there is a record left in the place. Many believe this might be some kind of mistake while others say that it isn't. However, no one has seen the person who climbed to the 20th step. So most people in the capital just ignore the top ranking. But as far as those who are known for their achievements, she continued, her voice carrying an air of certainty. The only one who has ever truly proven her talent and climbed as high as the 17th step is, without a doubt, my junior sister, Ling Meiyu. Okay, then you can start climbing the Pillar of Aptitude. As soon as Tianlongzhen's announcement echoed through the arena, the participants frantically surged toward the Pillar of Aptitude. Eager to prove themselves, many began the climb almost recklessly, their excitement overwhelming any strategy they might have had. As they entered the Pillar of Aptitude, some participants stumbled and fell, weighed down by the intense pressure, while others moved effortlessly, feeling no strain at all. The atmosphere buzzed with energy as the spectator cheered on the bold, watching intently as the participants made their way up. The Feng Clan, however, did not rush. Feng Yun, standing at the front of his group, observed the chaos with a calm, calculating gaze. He turned to his fellow clan members, silently signaling for patience. Each of them, Feng Xiaoyu, Feng Mei, Feng Liang, and Feng Jianhong, nodded in understanding, knowing that rushing things will not always yield good results. They were not the only ones. Yuan Ziyan along with Yuan Ling and Hu Lian waited for others to go first as well. There were also some other geniuses like Yunhai Mei with her clan members who also sought to wait for a bit. This alone revealed the distinction between the anxious and the composed. After some time, Yunhia and her clan members also began to make their move. Of course, they swiftly overtake many of them in an instant. What? How can they climb so effortlessly? I am struggling to even crawl in the third step. Sigh. This is the difference between those with great talent and us. The ones who were untalented and struggled even in the third step lamented about the unfair world. Shall we? Feng Jianhong asked. Let's go, Feng Yun said as he also entered the Pillar of Aptitude. Yuan Zian also followed. Unlike others, she wasn't waiting because she wanted to avoid the crowd. Instead, she wanted to follow the Feng Clan's participants and see who Feng Yun was and how he would perform. In the spectator stands, the clan leaders and elders watched with keen interest, discussing the participants among themselves. The Tianlong clan has used the heavenly projection crystal to enhance the experience of the event. This remarkable artifact, which is earth-grade, hovered above the arena, glowing with a soft, azure light that drew the eyes of all present. As the participants began their ascent, the heavenly projection crystal activated, projecting a stunning holographic image of inside the Pillar of Aptitude. It displayed not only the climbers themselves but also their current progress and energy fluctuations. Spectators could see every movement, every struggle, and the determination etched on the climbers' faces. Look, our Li Bo is second. Ha ha. The Li clan leader laughed with pride. Although it was just the start, their clan's participant was second, which was a proud moment for him. Ha ha. Truly a dragon among men. With him, our clan will surely prosper. Hee hee. Looks like our Li Bo will become a disciple of Spirit Wind Palace. The elders besides the clan leader also started to boost their egos, and were filled with pride and hope. Idiots. Many people looked at Li clan with disdain. They felt that the Li clan leader was an idiot for being happy about Li Bo being second, because most of the geniuses from the powerful clan had not even started to climb. Once they did, it is unknown whether he could even be in the top 10. Of course, that didn't mean that there weren't people who weren't jealous. Even if the geniuses from the Yuan clan and other powerful clans do overtake him, it doesn't mean that he wasn't talented. Compared to those hundreds of participants who struggled on the 5th step, Li Bo was indeed one of the most talented who had already reached the 7th step. Of course, going further seems to be very difficult for him. Though soon enough the ranking changed drastically when Yuan Zian and others joined the fray. Look, Yunhai Mei from Yunhia clan has bypassed Li Bo and is ranked second. Others have also started to overtake Li Bo. The spectators gasped as the rankings on the heavenly projection crystal updated in real time. The buzz of excitement intensified, with whispers and shouts echoing throughout the arena. Yunhai Mei is climbing like a whirlwind. Look at that speed. One elder exclaimed, leaning forward in his seat, his eyes glued to the crystal. Indeed, Yunhai Mei moved with remarkable agility, as if there was no pressure at all, even at the 7th step. On the way, she met many who struggled even to crawl, but she casually walked like taking a stroll through a park. This highlighted the distinction between the talented and the untalented. Those with exceptional abilities tended to feel less pressure while ascending the Pillar of Aptitude, while others experienced the weight of a massive boulder resting heavily on their shoulders. This was the same as in Cultivation. For those talented cultivators, breaking through was a breeze, while for others it was tantamount to going against heaven. Li Bo has fallen to 4th place. Someone cried out, pointing at the display. TSK. TSK. Now he is no longer in the top 10. Li Bo was quickly pushed back in ranking by the geniuses who joined. Of course, while Li Bo lost his 2nd place, the 1st place remained the same. Why? Because it was held by Tianlong Yu, the genius of the Tianlong clan. Unlike others like Yuan Zian or Yunhai Mei, he didn't wait. He didn't want anyone to have 1st place apart from him. He was already on the 9th step, and was on his way to the 10th step. Indeed, the 10th step is different from others. Tianlong Yu said arrogantly as he stepped on the 10th stair. For him, going from 1st step to 5th was nothing more than walking. After that, he felt a bit of pressure, but when he entered the 10th step, it was as if the difficulty had increased 10x and he struggled to even move his fingers. Ah, Tianlong Yu has already reached the 10th step. Someone gasped in astonishment. In just over 5 minutes, Tianlong Yu had already reached the 10th step, a feat that would undoubtedly grant him entry into any sect of his choosing. Of course, he was already a disciple of the Spirit Wind Palace. Ha ha. Good. Good. As expected from the inner disciple of our sect. Grand Elder Rin Daoyu said with pride. This is all because of the love and care of Spirit Wind Palace. Tianlong Qi said with humility. How could he miss the chance to flatter the Grand Elder of Spirit Wind Palace, n/o/vel/b/in.c/in.com. Grand Elder simply nodded happily. On the other hand, Yuan Hao frowned. What is Xian doing? He muttered. She had already started climbing, but she was still in the 6th step and she didn't seem to be in a hurry. Of course, he knew her daughter's talent better than anyone. To her, climbing to the 10th step is no different than walking. So he was surprised that she was still stuck on the 6th step. I don't know what she is thinking. Yuan Hao shook his head, not knowing what to do with Yuan Xian. Since childhood she has been willful and did what she wanted. Instead of focusing on her, he instead looked at Yuan Ling, who had already reached the 9th step, just below Tianlong Yu. In the Pillar of Aptitude, Feng Yun along with others climbed the stairs. Of course, for them, climbing to the 6th step was nothing more than taking a walk. But then Feng Yun seemed to have slowed down, and he fell behind Feng Mei and others. Brother, are you struggling? Feng Mei asked in worries. Feng Yun didn't reply, and just pointed at Yuan Xian, who was behind them. Feng Mei instantly understood. This Yuan Xian has been following them since the start and she seems determined to stay behind them. Since that was the case, Feng Yun decided to just keep playing with her and see for how long she would stay with him. Feng Mei nodded and climbed faster. Feng Liang and others also followed suit. They knew that Feng Yun wouldn't take a long time to catch up even if he stayed there. When Feng Mei and others increased their pace, Yuan Xian was surprised. She thought that they were already struggling and climbing at their fastest. Who knew that they could increase their pace when they were at 6th step? What puzzled her even more was that Feng Yun, whose name she didn't yet know, remained at the 6th step. She looked at Feng Mei and her group and then Feng Yun, and decided to stick with him until she knew who was who. Moreover, she believed that Feng Yun, who is rumored to be trash, would undoubtedly be the most untalented amongst the Feng participants. Let's see how long you could stay here. Feng Yun thought with a hint of amusement. If one looks closer, one will see that he has the same expression as Feng Chen when they toy with their prey. Indeed, brothers of the same blood. The top was still Tianlong Yu, who was still on the 10th step, but he was struggling to go on the 11th step. On the 9th step were Hu Lian, Yun Mei, and Yuan Ling. It was as expected since they were already the disciple of the top sect, and also considered top talents in the eastern region. But what many didn't expect was the participants from Feng Clan, who were right behind them. Feng Mei was on the 8th step, followed by Feng Liang, Feng Xiaoyu, and Feng Jianhong, who were on the 7th step. This Feng Mei is actually just behind Yuan Ling. She must be quite talented. Not only her, but other participants from Feng Clan aren't bad either. 3 of them are already on the 7th step. This Feng Clan is hiding too deep. Even their youth has such incredible talent. No wonder they are so arrogant. Since the names of the participants are listed on the ranking, they naturally knew their names. The crowd was astonished by the talent shown by them. Some just watched with hatred, like the Bai clan, and cursed inwards. This Feng Clan has some talent. Grand Elder Rindaoyu spoke with a faint trace of killing intent in his voice. His presence at the competition wasn't just to spectate, it was to evaluate the Feng Clan. If the opportunity arose, he would not hesitate to eliminate them. For now, however, he chose to remain patient, observing the rest of the competition carefully before deciding whether to act. The more talent the Feng Clan displayed, the stronger Rindaoyu's killing intent grew. Tianlong Qi also watched with a frown, as he was clearly unhappy that Feng Clan's participants were catching up to Tianlong Qi. Moreover, his other Tianlong clan participants were already left behind by 4 Feng members. Trash. Tianlong Qi thought angrily. He thought that with Ren Daoyu's presence, he might be able to enroll other geniuses from his clan into Spirit Wind Palace. But they only disappointed him with their pathetic performance. With none of his clan geniuses on top 10 ranking, he was certain that they would not be admitted to Spirit Wind Palace. Moreover, he was also concerned about Tianlong Yu, who was stuck in the 10th step while others were catching up. On the other hand, Yuan Hao seemed very carefree. He didn't seem to think much even when his daughter was stuck in the 6th step, or the others who were still on the 5th step. Rather than that, he was deeply interested in Feng Clan members who all showed phenomenal performance. If nothing goes wrong then with 4 of their members in the top 10, the Feng Clan would surely be ranked number 1 in the first round. Yuan Hao had been quietly observing the Feng Clan for a while, his thoughts lingering on how they had managed to nurture such talented individuals. The more he watched, the more curious he became. How did the Feng Clan produce so many geniuses? He wondered, his interest growing with each passing moment. Unable to hold back any longer, Yuan Hao finally decided to approach. With a polite smile, he made his way toward Feng Chen, the leader of the Feng Clan. Ha ha! Clan leader Feng Chen, Yuan Hao greeted warmly. I didn't expect your clan to have so many talented people. He was the first among the leaders at the Eastern gathering to approach the Feng Clan. Well, that was excluding Bai Zhang, but obviously, that was different from this. Feng Jinshan and Feng Jilan were well aware of Yuan Hao's strength and the powerful background he came from. Without hesitation, they bowed respectfully before him and offered him a seat next to Feng Chen. They were thinking that if they could become friends with the Yuan clan, then they would greatly benefit from this gathering. With so many enemies that they made, having allies was a must. Though Feng Chen obviously didn't share the same sentiment. Thanks for the compliment. Your clan's geniuses aren't bad either. Feng Chen responded calmly, sensing no ill intentions from Yuan Hao and thus replying with courtesy. He wasn't concerned, knowing that no one would dare make a move with so many eyes watching, even if they had ill intentions. Besides, with his cultivation at the 3 elements divine realm, Feng Chen was confident that Yuan Hao posed no real threat to him. Yuan Hao settled into the seat offered by the Grand Elder and continued his conversation with Feng Chen. He had approached both talk and observe Feng Chen. He was already interested in Feng Chen before the competition. After all, in the Azure Sky Empire, there is no one who dares defy the Mystic Flame sect, at least not an alive one. Now that Feng Clan's geniuses were showing such spectacular performances, he couldn't wait to get to know Feng Chen. Whether his daughter objected or not was of no concern to him. How could he, as her father, be hindered by his own child? If she was willful, then he was even more stubborn. Yuan Hao was a bit surprised by how nonchalant Feng Chen was in his presence, although he had anticipated this demeanor based on Feng Chen's interactions with Tianlong Qi. Ha ha! They are all right. Yuan Hao said as he continued to watch the heavenly projection crystal. In the Pillar of Aptitude, Yuan Zian kept a close watch on Feng Yun as they ascended the Pillar of Aptitude together. The longer Feng Yun stayed on the 6th step, the more suspicious Yuan Hao got. From the way he moved, there was no sign of struggle, but neither did he exert the same impressive speed as his clan members. She thought that he was intentionally holding back, and that intrigued her. Above them, Feng Mei was steadily ascending, surpassing the 8th step and nearing the 9th. The rest of the Feng clan members had also reached the 8th step. Their movements remained fluid, and they showed no sign of slowing down. Their names were already shown on the ranking, which Yuan Zian also saw. From this, she was finally able to confirm that the man before her was indeed Feng Yun, the former fiancé of Ling Meiyu. Why aren't you advancing faster? She asked, her tone laced with curiosity. You're holding back, aren't you? Feng Yun glanced sideways at her, his smile widening just a fraction. What makes you think that? Yuan Zian gestured toward a man who was nearly kneeling. Look at him, she remarked. Those who are truly struggling are like him, barely able to lift their heads. In contrast, Feng Yun leaned back, his head tilted comfortably as if he were enjoying a leisurely day rather than facing a challenge. Feng Yun chuckled softly, his expression still unreadable. Of course, to know just how long you are willing to stay behind me. Feng Yun answered honestly. What? You knew that I was intentionally staying behind you, n/o/vel/b/jn.c/om. Yuan Ziyan said with a surprised expression. Unlike Feng Yun, she thought that she was acting quite well. Look at my posture. Look at my sweat. It is the same as those who are struggling. She thought to herself, believing that no one would know that she was deliberately staying behind like Feng Yun. You were trying to hide that, Feng Yun said with a weird expression. Judging by her expression, Feng Yun was certain that she thought that she was acting quite well. But she forgot that she was Yuan Ziyan, a disciple of Mystic Flame sect. How could it be possible for her to struggle at the sixth step? Furthermore, how could he be unaware that she was targeting him when she had been staring at him the entire time? He would have to be blind not to notice. Yuan Ziyan flushed slightly, realizing that her little act had been seen through so easily. She narrowed her eyes at Feng Yun, a mix of embarrassment and frustration flickering across her face. HPMH. So what if you found out? Yuan Ziyan said, attempting to mask her embarrassment. She couldn't believe she had let herself feel vulnerable in front of her enemy. Feng Yun, let me say this straight. You don't deserve to be the husband of my junior sister, and your 3-year challenge is nothing more than a joke. Yuan Ziyan spoke, her thoughts firmly fixed on the notion that Feng Yun had issued a 3-year challenge merely to win Ling Meiyu back. And as Ling Meiyu's senior sister, she thought it was her responsibility to block any obstacle, Feng Yun, from hindering her cultivation. Feng Yun's relaxed expression faltered slightly when he heard Yuan Ziyan's words, but only for a fleeting moment. His calm demeanor returned, though his eyes darkened as if a storm was brewing beneath the surface. He was usually calm, unshaken by anything, but the mere mention of Ling Meiyu always stirred something within him, especially when others claimed he wasn't worthy of her. You really think I don't deserve her? Feng Yun asked, his voice low and measured, but there was an unmistakable edge to it now. He turned his head slightly, his gaze locking onto Yuan Ziyan with an intensity that made her pause. Yuan Ziyan, seeing the cold look on Feng Yun's face for the first time, felt a sudden shiver run through her as if a trace of fear had crept in. Almost immediately she felt ashamed. How could I be scared of him? Humph. I know you don't. Meiyu has moved on, and so should you. This challenge you issued, it's nothing but a distraction for her, a foolish attempt to cling to the past. Feng Yun's jaw tightened as his thoughts raced. He assumed that Yuan Ziyan's hostility came not just from his past engagement with Ling Meiyu, but also from the lingering conflict between their sects. She was the disciple of Mystic Flame sect, and it was normal for her to hate him, because his brother beat up Elder Zhou at the first encounter and killed him on their second. N/o/vel/b/jn.c/om. But that wasn't why she was hostile to him, but because she believed he was challenging Ling Meiyu out of lingering feelings for her. That thought alone made him want to throw up. Who in their right mind would be interested in that woman? He thought, almost wanting to laugh at the absurdity of it. Feng Yun's lips twitched, almost in disbelief, as he shook his head slightly, more to himself than to Yuan Ziyan. His eyes, however, remained fixed on her, his gaze as cold as ever. You really don't get it, do you? He said, his tone laced with a mix of annoyance and anger. Do you honestly think I'm doing all of this for Ling Meiyu? That I care about winning her back? Yuan Ziyan crossed her arms defiantly, confident as ever that this was the case. Isn't that what all of this is about? You couldn't handle being cast aside, so now you're trying to prove something with this ridiculous challenge. Feng Yun's expression hardened. Let me make one thing clear, he said, his voice steady but firm. I don't care about Ling Meiyu, and wouldn't want her even if she begs me. Yuan Ziyan narrowed her eyes, angered by his words. How could she handle her junior sister being insulted like this? Begs you? Feng Yun, stop dreaming. That wouldn't happen in a million years. Yuan Ziyan said angrily. Hearing this, Feng Yun was dumbfounded once again. He was just making an analogy that what she was thinking was wrong, and he wasn't interested in Ling Meiyu at all. He hadn't expected her to take his words so literally, and for a moment, he was caught between amusement and frustration. You completely missed my point, Feng Yun muttered under his breath, shaking his head slightly. Anyway, no matter what you say, this is the agreement between me and Ling Meiyu. You don't need to stick your nose into something that doesn't concern you. Feng Yun warned. He felt that no matter what he said, Yuan Ziyan wouldn't understand or trust his words. Then it was better for him to just make her stop meddling in his business. Humph. So what if I am meddling? As the senior sister of Ling Meiyu, it is my responsibility to keep pests like you away from her. She continued, junior sister is the peerless genius of our sect who will one day become the sect leader. She continued, her voice rising with determination. And as for your ridiculous challenge, I'm challenging you. If you cannot even defeat me, then you have no right to compete with my junior sister. Humph. After saying that, Yuan Ziyan stopped pretending to struggle and started climbing the pillar of aptitude seriously. Feng Yun watched Yuan Ziyan's back as she dismissed him, issuing a one-sided challenge he hadn't even agreed to. Shaking his head, he concluded it was for the best that she was leaving. 7th step, 8th step and 9th step. Yuan Ziyan was just behind Feng Jianhong and others. This astonished many people who were already exhausted and thought that the competition was already over. In the spectator area, Yuan Ziyan looked at the heavenly projection crystal and saw his daughter having a conversation with Feng Yun. What is she doing? Yuan Hao thought. He quietly observes her while also looking at the people at the top. Tianlong Yu was still at the top in the 12th step, while Feng Mei, Yuan Ling, and Hu Lian were at the 11th step. Then Yuan Ziyan began to ascend the stairs, surprising many onlookers. She quickly entered the top 10 ranking and quickly surpassed the 10th and 9th place. Someone is climbing the stairs very quickly. Oh, she is Yuan Ziyan. She has reached the 9th step. Yuan Ziyan. What was she doing in the back? At first, the crowd was astonished that someone could climb so quickly at this stage. However, once they learned who the climber was, their surprise faded. Oh no, someone else is also climbing the stairs quickly. Who? It's Feng Yun of Feng Clan. Feng Yun as in the ex-fiancé of Miss Ling. It should be. Look, he already reached the 9th step as well. Feng Yun also climbed the pillar of aptitude after Yuan Ziyan and soon reached the 9th step. As for the challenge from Yuan Ziyan, he didn't take it seriously. But of course, he was determined to reach at least the 17th step. Seeing Feng Yun catching up to her, Yuan Ziyan snorted and increased her pace. Despite the pressure being very high, it didn't stop Yuan Ziyan, and soon enough she caught up to Feng Mei and others who were still in the 11th step. Sister! Ziyaner! Hu Lian and Yuan Ling called out. For a minute, they thought that she had encountered a problem and was stuck below. But they were relieved when she saw her. Indeed, how could she, who was more talented than them, be below them? They wanted to ask why she was staying behind, but she didn't stop and still continued to climb further. I will be leaving. You two continued on at your own pace. Yuan Ziyan said and swiftly departed, leaving both Hu Lian and Yuan Ling dumbfounded. She was determined to show Feng Yun that he was no opponent of her, much less her junior sister. Humph. Let's see whether you can reach here. Yuan Ziyan muttered as she climbed to the 12th step. No, this can't be happening. Tianlong Yu complained in his heart when he saw Yuan Ziyan catching up to him. He thought he was the best, seeing that no one was catching up to him, but in a matter of minutes, Yuan Ziyan had also entered the 12th step. Moreover, Yuan Ziyan wasn't struggling as much as he did, and was even advancing further. Previously, he tried his best to go another step but couldn't. So he was just holding on, hoping that nobody would make it to this step. But Yuan Ziyan came, and now it looks like she will surpass him. Yuan Ziyan didn't even spare a glance at Tianlongyu and soon enough overtook him. Damn it! I refuse to believe this. Tianlongyu cursed in his heart, frustration mounting as he gathered every ounce of strength he had left to move one more step. The 12th step loomed ahead of him, taunting him with its seemingly impossible distance. He had been so confident certain that no one could catch up to him, let alone surpass him. But now, with Yuan Ziyan effortlessly climbing ahead, his pride was crumbling. His muscles trembled under the immense pressure of the pillar's suppression, each breath he took becoming more labored and painful. He gritted his teeth, forcing his body to comply, but it was no use. His legs felt like they were made of lead, the weight of the spiritual energy pressing down on him like a mountain. NOVLB //JNN. Damn it. No. I refuse to give up. He screamed inwardly, his frustration burning like fire in his chest. With a guttural grunt, he tried once again to lift his foot, but the weight was unbearable. His body wouldn't respond no matter how much he pushed. Sweat poured down his face, his vision blurring from the strain. The effort to take just one more step was overwhelming, and the more he struggled, the clearer it became that he had reached his limit. The reality of it was devastating. No matter how much he wished otherwise, he couldn't move. No, this can't be happening. Tianlongyu's breath caught in his throat as he pushed himself harder, refusing to accept defeat. He clenched his fists so tightly that his nails dug into his palms, his body trembling under the weight. But then, suddenly, the pressure became too much. His inner energy, already strained to the breaking point, rebelled violently. With a choking sound, he felt a surge of blood rises in his throat. He stumbled, his body convulsing from the overexertion, and before he could stop it, he spat out a mouthful of blood. The metallic taste filled his mouth, a bitter reminder of his failure. Damn it. I've overdone it. He wiped his mouth, but the damage was done. His face paled, and he could feel his strength draining rapidly. His vision dimmed, and his legs wobbled beneath him. No matter how much he wanted to continue, his body had reached its absolute limit. He could just watch as Yuan Ziyan stepped on the 13th stair. On the spectator side, Tianlongchi's expression immediately changed. He was also thinking that his clan would get the first position in this round. However, Yuan Ziyan proved him wrong. Judging by Tianlongyu's expression, he could already tell that the 12th step was his limit. That means that his clan has no chance of grabbing the first position. Grand Elder Rindaoyu was equally disappointed, and there was even a hint of anger. On the other side, both the Feng Clan and Yuan Clan's elders were filled with pride as they watched their participants excel. A sense of satisfaction radiated from their faces, their eyes gleaming with pride as their clan members continued to advance. It is almost confirmed that these two clans would be in the top 3 of overall ranking of the first round. No other clan has 2 or more participants above the 10th step. Hee hee. Clan leader Yuan Hao, your daughter is hiding quite deep. Feng Chen said. Yuan Hao smiled modestly and replied, she's certainly talented, but she still has a long way to go. He then thought of someone and continued. And compared to real genius, she is nothing. Yuan Hao was hinting that compared to Ling Meiyu, his daughter's talent wasn't anything to write home about. Of course, he knows the relationship between Feng Clan and Ling Meiyu, so he didn't say her name. Feng Chen clearly understood his implication, and was well aware of it. After all, when compared to Ling Meiyu, who achieved Grand Qi condensation at 17, Yuan Ziyan's peak core formation stage at 19 paled in comparison. Eyes of insight. Name, Yuan Ziyan. Cultivation level, peak core formation stage. Talent, exceptional talent. Physique, none. Indeed, very talented. It was the second time that he had seen anyone with exceptional talent, other than Feng Mei. Of course, because Feng Mei also has a physique of phoenix, her future would be greater than Yuan Zian. Still, her level of talent is 1 in a million. In the Pillar of Aptitude, Feng Yun advanced further amidst the shock of other participants, and was on the 10th step where Feng Jianhong, Feng Liang, and Feng Xiaoyu were. "How are you all doing?" Feng Yun asked them. "It's okay. But advancing further would need some more energy," Feng Liang replied. Although they were on the 10th step of the Pillar of Aptitude, they still had the power to go further. Feng Yun nodded. He knew that with their talent, the 10th step wasn't their limit. However, from the corner of his eyes, he could see that Feng Jianhong was struggling a bit. However, he didn't comment on it. Even if he told him to give up, he wouldn't listen to him, and it wasn't his place to tell him that either. That's how he was in the past as well. Many people have also told him in the past to stop cultivating as it was useless, some who genuinely wished for his well-being, and others in a mocking manner. Nonetheless, he did what he wanted and had proved them wrong. So he didn't say anything to Feng Jianhong either. "Okay, do your best." As Feng Yun made his way up the Pillar of Aptitude, soon reaching where Feng Mei stood, Hu Lian and Yuanling couldn't help but observe him with newfound interest. The Feng Clan had surprised them with its abundance of talent, and both Feng Yun and Feng Mei stood out among the rest, demonstrating strength that put them on par with the best of the competition, at least for now. This was not their arrogance but a fact. They were rare geniuses who are valued even by the top sect, so one could understand just how talented they were. But Yuanling's attention was concentrated more elsewhere. Hulian was focused on analyzing Feng Yun, who is the ex-fiancée of Ling Meiyu, who is also her junior sister, NOVLB//JNN. However, she wasn't very close to Ling Meiyu, and didn't bother about her affairs as well. But she was indeed curious about the men who dared to divorce her. After all, Ling Meiyu was the daughter of Ling Clan, top 3 clan in the capital with nascent soul realm expert. Moreover, she was also Mystic Flame Sect's little sect leader, who would one day become the leader of number 1 sect of Azure Sky Empire. So, even if she were to break off her engagement, the other party should have yielded and agreed without resisting. But Feng Yun not only dared to divorce her instead, but also issued a 3-year challenge which has been the talk of town for months in Mystic Flame Sect. On the other hand, Yuanling's attention was elsewhere, which was Feng Mei. From the moment he saw her, something stirred within him, a quiet fascination that quickly turned into admiration. In his eyes, Feng Mei stood apart from everyone else, her form radiant under the shifting light of the pillar. Her expression was calm and collected, her every movement filled with grace and purpose. She seemed unaffected by the surrounding pressure, her poise unbroken, making her presence almost ethereal. Her long, raven black hair cascaded down her back, the loose strands swaying gently in the breeze. Her eyes, sharp and unwavering, held a depth that drew him in, as if they could see through everything. Her quiet confidence captivated him. Unlike others who struggled and fought against the weight of the pillar's steps, Feng Mei stood still, like a goddess unbothered by the mortal trials around her. Her skin, smooth and fair, seemed to glow under the light, and her lips were set in a soft line, neither smiling nor frowning, as if nothing could faze her. Yuanling's admiration deepened the more he watched her. He could feel his heart pull toward her, a feeling that was both exhilarating and terrifying. She's like no one I've ever met. How could anyone compare? He didn't even realize he was staring until Hulian nudged him. Yuanling snapped out of his daze, but couldn't help sneaking another glance at her. He felt an inexplicable need to talk to her, to somehow catch her attention, but he hesitated, unsure if he could ever approach someone like her. However, before he could even muster the courage, Feng Yun was already by her side. "Did you wait for too long?" Feng Yun asked Feng Mei, his voice warm and easy. Feng Mei shook her head lightly, a small smile gracing her lips as she replied, "Not at all." They exchanged warm smiles, their eyes locking in a moment of quiet understanding, feeling a connection that needed no words. It was just the two of them at that moment, sharing an unspoken understanding. As they stood together, Yuanling felt a pang of envy. He saw how easily Feng Yun and Feng Mei got along, their connection clear. It made him feel even more distant from her. Moreover, Feng Mei no longer exuded that ice princess image, instead, she radiated a warm, sunny demeanor. This crushed any form of hope that he had in pursuing her. "Let's climb together," Feng Yun suggested, extending his hand toward her with a confident grin. Feng Mei accepted his hand, and the moment their fingers touched, a rush of warmth coursed through Yuanling. Yuanling felt a mix of frustration and longing as he watched their hands join, wishing he could have even a little of that connection with her. Alas, what was not his will never be his. "Yuanling, you okay?" Hulian nudged him again, snapping him back to reality. "Yeah, just thinking," he mumbled, his eyes drifting back to Feng Mei and Feng Yun, who were now scaling the 12th step with ease. "Don't let them distract you. Focus on your own climb," Hulian advised because she thought that Yuanling was in shock that Feng Yun and Feng Mei surpassed him. After all, she was quite surprised that Feng Mei was able to climb up so easily. She had assumed that Feng Mei was like her, who struggled to make progress. Yuanling nodded, forcing himself to shift his gaze back to the pillar of aptitude. On the 12th step, Tianlong, who had been feeling down after Yuanzian passed him, had just regained his composure, and was comforting himself with the thought that at least he was in second place when Feng Yun and Feng Mei joined him on the same step. "What?" he exclaimed, his heart sinking at the sight of the two of them. Just when he recovered from the shock given by Yuanzian, he got another shock. Feng Yun, with his easy smile and relaxed demeanor, seemed unfazed by the pressure, while Feng Mei stood beside him, radiating a calm confidence that made Tianlong's frustration boil over. "Who the hell are you?" Tianlong gritted his teeth, glaring at Feng Yun. Feng Yun merely glanced at him before looking away, while Feng Mei showed no interest in his outburst either. They were already aware that the Tianlong clan was hostile towards their clan, making them natural enemies. Even if that weren't the case, the way Tianlong had posed his question left little desire for a response. He spoke to them as if they were his subordinates, and who with any self-respect would listen to that? Certainly not Feng Yun and Feng Mei. "Hey!" Tianlong shouted, frustration boiling over. If he couldn't move, he would have moved over there and gave them a good beating. Alas, he already overexerted earlier, and no longer to even lift his finger to point at them. "Can't you hear me? I'm talking to you too." His voice was sharp, cutting through the air as he tried to assert his presence. Feng Yun and Feng Mei exchanged a glance, unfazed by his outburst. Feng Yun leaned slightly closer to Feng Mei, a teasing smile on his face. "Looks like someone is unaware that we are intentionally ignoring him," he murmured, just loud enough for Tianlong to hear. Feng Mei giggled, aware that Yun was saying this to make fun of Tianlong. This only fueled Tianlong's anger further. "You think I am a joke? Do you even know who I am?" he snapped, his face reddening. Feng Yun raised an eyebrow, unfazed by Tianlong's outburst. "Honestly, does it matter? Feng Yun honestly has enough people using their background to scare others. Moreover, he didn't even do anything and couldn't understand just why Tianlong was being angry at them." Tianlong's fists clenched at his sides, and he could feel his anger boiling over. "I'm from the Tianlong clan." "So?" Feng Yun asked, his tone calm and steady. He already knew that, and moreover, even if that wasn't the case, he wouldn't be scared of him because of his clan. Tianlong was once again surprised by how nonchalant Feng Yun was even after hearing his clan's name. But even so, he threatened again. How could he let this humiliation slide? "It means I won't let you both get away with treating me like this. You're not special just because you made it to the 12th step." He spat, frustration evident in every word. Feng Yun shrugged, still maintaining the casual smile. "Ha ha. I never claimed to be special for reaching the 12th step. Honestly, I'd be embarrassed if this was all I could manage." This made Tianlong even angrier. Although he was the first one to say that, in reality he was indeed thinking he was special for reaching the 12th step. But now Feng Yun said that it was embarrassing to be on the 12th step, which was his limit, and made him angrier. "You." Tianlong sputtered, his fists trembling as he tried to find the right words. He was a genius of the Tianlong clan, and a disciple of Spirit Wind Palace, and he had never experienced such humiliation in his entire life. Even those older and stronger than him treated him with great respect. After all, who would want to provoke a junior who was destined to surpass them one day? Even with the Tianlong clan as his only backing, who on earth would dare to disrespect him? Now that someone was doing it, he didn't even know what to say. All he could think was threatening them with his background, and that's it. This works most of the time, but now, his words were taken for granted. "Ha! Do you seriously think that you can climb up to the 13th step?" Tianlong said after calming down for a bit. No matter what Feng Yun said, he didn't believe that they would be able to surpass him. Although he wasn't very happy that two of them were equal to him. Feng Yun chuckled softly, shaking his head at Tianlong's desperate attempts to maintain some semblance of superiority. "If that's what you need to tell yourself to feel better, then by all means, hold on to that thought." Feng Yun's words were calm, but they cut deep, a casual dismissal that only stoked Tianlong's rage. Before Tianlong could retort, Feng Mei calmly interjected, her voice as cool as a mountain breeze. "Feng Yun, there's no need to waste time here," she continued. "We have farther to go." Feng Mei's goal here was to at least reach the 17th step in order to show everyone that Ling Meiyu isn't someone special. Tianlong clenched his fists even tighter, his knuckles white. The simplicity of her words hit Tianlong harder than any insult could. There was no mockery in her tone, no malice, just a calm dismissal that made him feel insignificant, as if he were not worth her time or energy. "Don't act so high and mighty," Tianlong growled, his voice rising. He couldn't think that some no-name was thinking that they could reach the 13th step when he couldn't even after giving his best. Moreover, he couldn't hold the fact that he was getting ignored like a nobody. When has he ever experienced such a thing? "You think you'll get any higher? The 12th step is already near the peak for most of us. You're not going any further." NOVLB//JNN. Tianlong spat, his voice tinged with anger and frustration. More than that, it was the refusal to believe that they were better than him. Feng Mei barely glanced his way, her expression unbothered. "If that's what you believe," she replied coolly. Feng Yun chuckled beside her, turning to face Tianlong. "We'll see about that. Bye." Without waiting for a response, they continued their ascent, leaving him behind, fuming in silence. Even so, he didn't think that they would succeed. "Humph. You'll regret this." Tianlong spat with hatred, glaring at them, hoping to see them fail. With that, Feng Yun and Feng Mei began to ascend the steps once more, their movements graceful and unhurried. To everyone's surprise, they took a step that seemed effortless, as if the pressure that weighed so heavily on the others didn't even exist for them. Tianlong watched them in disbelief, his anger now mixed with frustration and helplessness. "Stop. Stop this." Tianlong wailed in his heart, wishing that two of them would somehow fall down, and then descend back to the 12th step. But no matter how much he wished for it, it never happened. His body felt heavy, drained of energy, and all he could do was watch as the two figures grew smaller, moving further and further beyond his reach. His pride as a member of the Tianlong clan, and as a disciple of Spirit Wind Palace, was crumbling in front of these two who treated him like air. He clenched his fists tightly, but no matter how much anger he summoned, he couldn't move an inch further up the pillar. "Damn it! Damn it!" On the spectator side, people of various clans were surprised when Feng Mei and Feng Yun reached the 12th step. Previously, they thought that they had underestimated Feng Clan, but it turns out they hadn't underestimated Feng Clan but severely underestimated them. All of their participants were still progressing further in the pillar of aptitude, with the worst being in the 10th step. That was better than most clans whose best wasn't even at the 9th step, much less the 10th step. And what shook them the most was when Feng Mei and Feng Yun overtook Tianlong Yu and got 2nd and 3rd positions. They were all jealous of the Feng Clan, wishing they had descendants like them. With the talent the Feng Clan's participants had shown, those participants could easily join the top sect and have a bright future ahead of them. On the other hand, Grand Elder Ren Daoyu watched Feng Clan's performance with a frown on his face. His eyes gleamed with a cold light as he watched them, the killing intent in his heart growing more palpable with each step they took. "They're too dangerous," Ren Daoyu muttered under his breath, his fingers tightening into fists. "If they're allowed to grow, the Feng Clan will become very powerful." Judging by the aptitude of them, it was easy to draw that conclusion. Those who reached the 10th step were destined to achieve at least the Grand Qi Condensation realm, while those on the 12th step were expected to advance to the 3-element divine realm within their lifetime. So how could Grand Elder Ren Daoyu expect to let them off without doing anything? He was already calculating his next move. He was self-aware that eliminating Feng Chen was beyond his abilities, but that wasn't the case for the younger generation of Feng Clan who were still weak. As long as he gets an opportunity to be alone with any of the Feng participants, he vows to kill them without mercy. Feng Chen glanced at Ren Daoyu and knew about him, glaring at him occasionally. He was also well aware of the crooked idea that was brewing in his head. The Feng Clan's participants, especially Feng Mei and Feng Yun, had shown off too much, and it was sure that the enemies would definitely think of eliminating them before they grew up. Feng Chen was certain about it because he could sense killing intent from Ren Daoyu, although he expertly hid them before anyone else could sense it. This old man who lived more than he should must be cooking something evil. Feng Chen wasn't too concerned, his senses were far sharper than theirs, and he would definitely be alerted if anyone made a move against his clan. He would definitely know the moment someone makes a move on Feng Clan. So he wasn't scared of people attacking them. Even if a bunch of 3 elements divine realm experts attacked them simultaneously, he was confident in defeating them with much effort. Rather than dwelling on that, Feng Chen focused on watching the competition. His brother was no longer hiding his strength, and was doing his protagonist show-off moment. So how could he as his brother miss it? He definitely has to watch it. Right now, it was sure that Feng Yun was competing with Yuan Ziyan. Although he didn't know the actual conversation between the two, one could easily guess that Yuan Ziyan was a disciple from the Mystic Flame sect, and judging by her attitude, Feng Chen was sure that his brother and Yuan Ziyan might be competing. Even if that wasn't the case, right now, Feng Yun and Feng Mei were the only ones who could compete with Yuan Ziyan, who was at the top. Feng Chen wasn't very worried about his brother. With his talent, he was sure that getting to the 17th step wouldn't be a problem, though he didn't know whether he could reach the top like him. But with his talent, which is of greatest rank, he thought that he should be able to. Otherwise, his heavenly pride talent wouldn't be worthy of being the highest-ranked talent. Therefore, he wasn't very worried about Feng Yun or Feng Mei's performance. However, there was one person that he was worried about, and that was Feng Jianhong. Feng Jianhong was still at the 10th step, while Feng Xiaoyu and Feng Liang had already climbed to the 11th step. He knew that with his talent, reaching the 10th step was already his limit. People with the same talent as him were stuck at the 6th and 7th steps, while those who had special physiques were able to get to the 8th step. So for Feng Jianhong, who has the same talent as them but without a special physique, to get to the 10th step was already impressive. However, Feng Chen believed in Feng Jianhong, and hoped that he would persist and try climbing further. Half an hour has already passed since the start of the challenge, and many have already given up on climbing further. Some were happy and satisfied with their position, while some were not so much. Yuan Ling and Hu Lian also gave up after they had reached the 12th step. Tianlong Yu's expression became darker and gloomy when 2 additional people reached the same step as him. Now he was barely in the top 6, not even the top 3. Ha! Ha! Feng Jianhong gasped for breath under the immense pressure, struggling just to keep his head up. His body was on the verge of giving up, yet his will remained unshaken, driving him to push forward and keep climbing. Each moment felt like a battle against his own body. He's reached his limit. Feng Chen's heart sank slightly, but he forced himself to remain calm. Come on, Jianhong, he muttered under his breath. Just one more push. As if hearing his thoughts, Feng Jianhong gritted his teeth and forced himself to his feet. His legs shook, but there was a fire of determination in his eyes. Slowly, he took another step forward, his body protesting with every movement. Feng Chen's lips curved into a small smile. It wasn't about how far he could go, it was about the will to keep pushing forward. And in that moment, Feng Jianhong's perseverance shone through. Jianhong, this brat did this. Feng Chen wasn't the only one who was impressed by Feng Jianhong's feat. Impressive child. I wonder how clan leader Feng Chen trained him. Yuan Hao remarked, clearly impressed by the perseverance Feng Jianhong had displayed. Not only he, but others who watched Feng Jianhong wanted to know as well. Through the heavenly projection crystal, everyone could see that Feng Jianhong was struggling on the 10th step. Despite that, he still attempted to climb further and even managed to do so. This earned recognition from many of them. What neither the crowd nor Feng Chen expected was that, despite showing clear signs of exhaustion, Feng Jianhong still had the courage to challenge the 12th step. Feng Liang and Feng Xiaoyu, who were also challenging the 12th step, didn't say anything to that. Even if they felt and saw Feng Jianhong was at his limit, it would be disrespectful for them to tell Feng Jianhong to give up. Cultivation in itself was going against heaven, so how could they tell Feng Jianhong to give up when the person himself didn't? As Feng Jianhong struggled to ascend, his body trembled with the weight of the pillar of aptitude's crushing pressure. Every step felt like his last, but his determination was unyielding. The sweat dripped down his brow, his breath ragged, yet the fire in his eyes never wavered. Yuan Hao's admiration grew as he watched Feng Jianhong, the young cultivator, pushing himself against the odds. He couldn't help but nod approvingly. This is what a man should be like, he thought. Even Grand Elder Ren Daoyu, with his scheming thoughts toward the Feng Clan, could not help but acknowledge the boy's fierce will, though it did nothing to ease the killing intent brewing in his heart. In the pillar of aptitude, the top was still Yuan Zian, who has reached an astonishing 15th step. Ha! Ha! Even for Yuan Zian, the 15th step seemed to be her limit. She was breathing heavily and sweating profusely. Previously, when she joined the Mystic Flame sect, she was still at the 15th step, and even after her cultivation had increased several times, the results were the same. Just goes to show how cultivation was irrelevant in pillar of aptitude. She then cast her eye below where she could see Feng Yun. She was surprised as she had never expected that Feng Yun would be able to climb this many steps. The challenge she issued was also because of this, as she believed that Feng Yun would never be able to take her on, much less Ling Meiyu. But as he climbed higher and higher, her expression began to change. 14th step and he is still climbing. He was only one step behind her. The spectator also watched the whole thing in disbelief. It was one thing to surpass Tianlong Yu, and another to reach the 15th step. Why? Because reaching the 12th guarantees that a person will advance to the 3 elements divine realm, then the 15th step guarantees one to be able to reach the nascent soul realm. Nascent soul realm. That was the highest cultivation anyone has on Azure Sky Empire. Many current nascent soul realm cultivators were those who were able to reach the 15th step in the pillar of aptitude. This is the reason why Yuan Zian was treated so well by the Mystic Flame sect and Yuan Hao. Yuan Zian has the potential to become nascent soul realm. This could change the power structure of any sect or clan. If Yuan Zian managed to become nascent soul realm, then Mystic Flame sect would truly become the dominant force without any equal. Moreover, they also have Ling Meiyu, who is more talented than Yuan Ziyan, and it seems only time before they totally dominate the Azure Sky Empire. Of course, the status of the Yuan clan would also increase, and become on par with the top clan of capital. So one could see that reaching the 15th step was considered totally different from the 10th or 12th step. What? How is he able to climb so high? Wasn't he called trash? What trash? He should be a peerless genius who might even climb up to the 15th step. I am so jealous of the Feng Clan right now. Looks like the competition will be between the three of them. They are making our geniuses look bad. And finally, Feng Yun stood before Yuan Ziyan. Oh. We meet again. Feng Yun casually said with a grin. He thought about Yuan Ziyan's earlier words and couldn't help but tease. That's why one should be careful about what they say. Don't just assume and jump to conclusions, or else you might regret it. Yuan Ziyan had a dumbfounded expression when Feng Yun reached the 15th step. And then she heard his words, and she could tell that he was making fun of her. After all, she was the one who had spoken those words and challenged him, believing that Feng Yun wouldn't be able to reach the 15th step. Humph. Feng Yun, don't be so happy. Yuan Ziyan remarked, trying to hide her embarrassment. Although I admit that you are better than I thought, and better than me, you will never be as good as Ling Meiyu. Yuan Ziyan has no problem admitting that she was wrong, or that someone was better than her even if that person was to be her enemy. She was struggling under the pressure of the 15th step, while she could see that Feng Yun wasn't. This showed Yuan Ziyan that she wasn't as good as Feng Yun. However, even if that was the case, she adamantly believed that Feng Yun wasn't Ling Meiyu's match. From the audience, gasps of amazement rippled through the various clans. Many couldn't believe their eyes as Feng Yun and Feng Mei ascended beyond what most participants could even dream of. Many of them would already consider having a genius who could reach the 10th step a blessing, much less the 15th step. Now Feng Clan has two people who have entered the 15th step. They couldn't help but curse heaven for unfairness. Does Miss Yuan think that Brother Feng Yun would stay at the 15th step only? Feng Mei said after hearing Yuan Ziyan's words. She didn't know what really transpired between Feng Yun and her, but judging her words, she knew that she was looking down on Feng Yun. Yuan Ziyan was surprised when she heard those words. Not because of the content, but because she had only noticed that there was someone other than Feng Yun who had reached the 15th step. Moreover, they were holding each other's hands. Yuan Ziyan's eyes widened in disbelief as she took in the sight before her. You. Yuan Ziyan sputtered, pointing an accusatory finger at Feng Yun. What do you think you're doing? Cheating on Ling Meiyu with this girl? Feng Yun's brow furrowed in confusion, and he was dumbfounded. What are you talking about? I've already divorced Ling Meiyu. She was the one who broke off JNN. Our engagement first. Feng Yun continued. Miss Yuan, I suggest you be mindful of your words. They could tarnish my reputation. Feng Yun didn't know just what was going on in Yuan Ziyan's mind. First saying that he was trying to win Ling Meiyu back, and now this. Your reputation, my . How dare you think about winning Ling Meiyu back, but going after flirting with another woman? Yuan Ziyan said, not listening to Feng Yun's words at all. She was convinced that Feng Yun had feelings for Ling Meiyu, and to her, his actions were nothing short of betrayal. It was like professing love while indulging in affairs with others. If this wasn't cheating, then what was? Yuan Ziyan was still being a Dolyulu. Based on her own assumption and misunderstanding, she made another misunderstanding that Feng Yun was not a very loyal person. Because if she wasn't a delusional person, then after seeing Feng Yun and Feng Mei holding hands together, she would have thought that her previous assumption must be a misunderstanding. But no. She never thought that her previous assumptions were wrong and continued to have other assumptions. Feng Yun stared at Yuan Ziyan, thoroughly bewildered by her accusations. He realized that no matter what he said, Yuan Ziyan was interpreting things through her own lens. "Miss Yuan, please, don't project your misunderstanding onto others," Feng Yun said. But Yuan Ziyan obviously didn't believe that she was misunderstanding things. Yuan Ziyan's eyes narrowed, her frustration bubbling over. "Misunderstanding?" she repeated, her voice incredulous. "Don't patronize me, Feng Yun. I know what I see. You're just trying to weasel your way out of this." Seeing Yuan Ziyan like this, Feng Yun didn't want to bother with her anymore. Talking to Yuan Ziyan was like pouring water onto a stone. No matter how much he tried to explain, nothing would sink in. "I won't waste my time on you," Feng Yun said after realizing that he would only be painted black by Yuan Ziyan no matter what he said. "Wait!" Yuan Ziyan called out again before Feng Yun could leave. "Feng Yun," she began, her voice calmer now. "I can see that you're more talented than I originally thought. I'll admit, I misjudged you. But listen, I could put in a few good words to junior sister Meiyu on your behalf. She respects my opinion. But you must stop acting like this, seeing other women so openly. Don't you know that doing this won't make Ling Meiyu jealous? It'll only make her despise you more." Yuan Ziyan has certainly improved her impression of Feng Yun, and also thought that he might make a good match for Ling Meiyu. This was not based on the thinking that he was able to climb to the 15th step, which is also one of the reasons. But another was that, unlike other men, she found that Feng Yun was surprisingly mature and calm. She was a bit self-aware about her character, which more than one occurrence has made many yell at her. So for Feng Yun to still be this calm and try to explain to her, she knew that his personality was better than described by many disciples who went with Ling Meiyu to break off her engagement. Although Yuan Ziyan was telling him that she would help him, this was nothing more than a nuisance. Obviously, if her misunderstanding were to be true, and she said those words, he might have been touched. But not in this situation. Feng Yun stared at her for a long moment, his expression unreadable. He understood now Yuan Ziyan had been driven by her assumptions about him, yes, but it was also her loyalty to Ling Meiyu that shaped her actions. She wasn't just meddling for the sake of it, she believed she was protecting her junior sister, even if it was misguided. She is a good girl. Just an idiot, Feng Yun thought to himself. Despite Yuan Ziyan being the senior sister of Ling Meiyu, whom he despised, he couldn't deny that she was a good person, albeit somewhat delusional. Feng Yun sighed softly. "Yuan Ziyan," he said, his voice steady. "I don't need you to speak on my behalf to Ling Meiyu. I'm not trying to win her back, and I'm certainly not interested in playing games to make her jealous." Yuan Ziyan blinked, clearly taken aback by his response. "You don't want her back? Are you serious?" Yuan Ziyan still didn't believe that to be the case but still asked. After all, he has been denying this the whole time. For the first time since the conversation began, Feng Yun felt like his words were getting through. For the millionth time, "Yes, I am not trying to get Ling Meiyu or anything." Feng Yun saw that Yuan Ziyan hadn't replied, and was deeply thinking. He didn't know what she was thinking but hoped that she understood the truth now. "Mayor, sorry to keep you waiting." Feng Yun apologized as he readied himself to climb to the 16th step. Feng Mei shook her head, not minding Feng Yun making her wait. Feng Yun just smiled and then proceeded to climb to the 16th step, albeit a bit slowly. Compared to other steps, he has taken quite a lot of time to climb to the 16th step. However, it was not because he was struggling under the pressure but due to Feng Mei. Although he wasn't struggling, this was not the same for Feng Mei, who was soaked in her sweat and breathing heavily. For Feng Mei, climbing the 16th step wasn't as easy as the other steps. It took a lot of effort from her to finally be able to climb the 16th step. And standing on it felt like she was already at her limit. However, she didn't want to stay in the 16th step, and was determined to reach the 17th step. The next one was the 17th step, which was the highest, and also the step that Ling Meiyu climbed to. but the onlookers were already going crazy since they had climbed to the 16th step. No way. How is this possible? Tell me that I am dreaming. How could they reach the 16th step? Are they cheating? Damn it. Our clan's greatest genius was only able to climb to the 8th step and they are literally double that. They have reached the 16th step taking the first position. It was an incredible achievement to take the first position, but more than that, reaching the 16th step was what took the limelight. After all, every 3 years there are winners, but rarely anyone gets higher than the 15th step, much less the 16th step. And in the history of the Azure Sky Empire, those who reached the 16th step could be counted on one hand. If not for Ling Meiyu, the 16th step might have been the highest that anyone was able to climb. 2. Many were shocked beyond their mind. Even Grand Elder Rindaoyu couldn't help but widen his eyes in surprise. He couldn't believe that a clan like Feng Clan would be able to produce a descendant who could climb to the 16th step. Moreover, it was 2, not 1. And his killing intent just increased. No matter what, he has decided that Feng Mei and Feng Yun couldn't live. Tianlongqi beside him also didn't have a good expression, almost like he has eaten **T. Yuan Hao also couldn't believe his eyes. Although he didn't like to praise his daughter because of her personality, he knew that she was one of the most talented people in the country. Even the Mystic Flame sect treated her like a precious gem. Had it not been for Ling Meiyu, she would have been destined to become the next sect leader. However, Yuan Hao believed that if she took on that role, she would ultimately bring ruin to the Mystic Flame sect. Now, 2 people have simultaneously surpassed her in terms of aptitude. Yuan Hao also felt sorry for the Mystic Flame sect. N/O/vel/b/in.c/in.c/om. If not for their sour relationship, it was certain that they would have sent Grand Elders and offered a lot of benefits to have them join. With them and Ling Meiyu, it would have been certain that the Mystic Flame sect could have dominated the Azure Sky Empire for hundreds of years. Alas, with their relationship, it would already be great if Feng Clan and Mystic Flame sect didn't go on a full-scale war. Do you think they will reach the 17th step? Impossible. That is the record that is held by the number 1 genius. How could it be that easy to reach? What is impossible? Feng Yun and Feng Mei have already reached the 16th step. There is already a possibility that they might be able to reach the 17th step. Could I be lucky to witness such a legendary moment? Amidst all the chatter, Feng Chen watched Feng Yun and Feng Mei without much emotion. He didn't have a flux of emotion because the result was as he expected. He knew that with their talent, reaching that stage wasn't a fantasy, especially for his brother. Although he wasn't sure about Feng Mei, with her talent, the 15th step might have been the limit, just like Yuan Zian. But she also has a special physique, although it is unawakened. But he also felt that reaching the 17th step might be a little difficult for Feng Mei, especially considering that cultivation has never been her interest. On the 16th step, Feng Mei felt like a giant pressing on her. She could tell that the pressure here was at least 15 times greater than the 15th step. "Mei, are you okay?" Feng Yun asked worriedly. Although he felt a bit of pressure, it still wasn't enough for him to even slow him down. If not for Feng Mei, he might have already reached the 17th step. "I am okay, Brother Yun. Let's continue." Despite Feng Mei's words, Feng Yun couldn't shake his worry. He could clearly see her struggling, pushing herself to the very edge of her endurance. If she kept going, there was no telling what might happen. Still, he couldn't tell her to give up, just as he hadn't with Feng Jianhong. It wasn't his place to interfere unless her life was truly at risk. Feng Mei struggled as she stood on the 16th step, feeling immense pressure weighing down on her. Feng Mei was fully aware of her limits, but giving up wasn't an option. Gritting her teeth, she locked her gaze on the 17th step, the very step that Yun's ex-fiancé had once reached. Today she was determined to make it there, too. She still remembered it as if it were yesterday when Ling Meiyu stormed into the Feng estate to break off her engagement with brother Yun. At the time, anger surged through her, but it wasn't her place to interfere. She had been just a weak foundation establishment cultivator, powerless to do anything even if she had wanted to. Now, with a chance to knock Ling Meiyu off her high horse, she couldn't help but feel determined to take it. Even if it was just vanity, even if it was for her own satisfaction, she felt that she needed to do this. You don't have to push it, Mayor. Feng Yun said gently. Although he didn't want to interfere, it was clear that Feng Mei was pushing herself to go further. Even remaining on the 16th step was a challenge for Feng Mei, and Feng Yun wished for her to reconsider her attempt to reach the 17th step. Feng Mei shook her head. I want to try. I know it's hard, but I can do it. Her voice was strained, but her eyes were firm with resolve. Feng Yun sighed, but he couldn't deny her spirit. All right, he said with a soft smile. But if it's too much, don't hesitate to stop. Feng Mei nodded. The crowd's murmurs intensified, filled with anticipation and disbelief. No one had expected the Feng Clan participants to reach such heights. And they found that two of them were not stopping there either. The onlookers were on the edge of their seats, eyes glued to the pair. They're doing it, they're actually going for the 17th step. Are they really going for the 17th step? Oh my God. I can't believe it. Tianlong Yu's humiliation deepened as the crowd shifted their focus away from him. He had once been the center of attention, hailed as one of the strongest. But now, he was being overshadowed by the very people he had mocked. And why are people still coming? Tianlong Yu complained in his heart when Feng Xiaoyu, Feng Liang, and finally Feng Jianhong arrived at the 12th step. He had once believed he was the most talented among them, yet now he found himself on the same step as 5 others, while 3 of them clearly outshone him. On the other hand, Yuan Ling and Hu Lian weren't interested in being jealous of others reaching the same step as them. Instead, they looked up to where Feng Mei and Feng Yun were and were curious to see whether they would make it to the 17th step. Yuan Zian was the same, and looked at the two who seemed to be on the verge of reaching the place that she thought was only possible for Ling Meiyu. She thought that 16th step was their limit, but it didn't seem that way, especially for Feng Yun, who seemed to not struggle at all. Seeing him like this, Yuan Zian felt that he would be able to reach the 17th step. If he can reach it, then I wouldn't hesitate to say a few good words to the junior sister. Yuan Zian muttered, still with her own misunderstandings. On the 16th step, Feng Mei took a deep breath, steeling herself as she prepared to ascend to the 17th step. Feng Mei's legs trembled as she tried to move closer to the 17th step. The weight of the pressure was crushing, and the energy in the air was suffocating, but her resolve remained unshaken. Each movement of her body felt like an eternity, and the pain coursing through her body intensified with every second. Yet, her eyes stayed locked on the 17th step, a destination that she must reach. N/O/vel/b/in.c/in.c/om. The pressure intensified, enveloping her like a vice, squeezing the air from her lungs. As she inched closer to the 17th step, a wave of force slammed into her. It was as if an invisible giant had pressed down on her shoulders, threatening to crush her. Under its weight, she staggered slightly, and the ground beneath her felt unsteady. Every muscle in her body screamed in protest, and beads of sweat formed on her brow. She felt as though she was being tested beyond her limits, and for a moment, doubt crept into her mind. Is it really impossible? Feng Mei sensed that, despite the 17th step being southwest tantalizingly close, reaching it felt far beyond her capabilities. Doubts crept into her mind as her body neared its breaking point. Feng Mei gritted her teeth, fighting against the overwhelming pressure that threatened to drive her to her knees. I must do it. It wasn't a matter of whether she could or not, but that she had to. She refused to allow her mind to succumb before her body did. She continued persisting, although she didn't even make 1 millimeter close to the 17th step. Just as she steadied herself, she felt her knees buckle under the immense pressure, threatening to flatten her. It seemed as though her body had truly given up, and could no longer muster the strength to even stand. Panic flared within her, but she couldn't let it win. With a fierce cry, she straightened, forcing her body to stand tall. Ha! Ha! She gasped for breath as she mustered every strength just to avoid collapsing. Feng Mei's entire body felt as though it was being crushed by an immense force as she stood still. Every muscle screamed in protest, and her bones felt as if they would shatter any moment under the overwhelming pressure. Sweat poured down her face, mingling with the blood trickling from her nose and lips. I won't stop. I can do it. Feng Mei muttered, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Her legs trembled violently, her knees nearly buckling as she struggled to take another step. Blood splattered onto the pristine stone beneath her, but she barely noticed. All that mattered was reaching the 17th step. It felt as though the heavens themselves were crashing down on her. Her vision blurred, and for a terrifying moment, she thought her legs would give out entirely. Feng Yun watched in horror as Feng Mei fought against the crushing pressure of the 16th step. Her determination was palpable, but so was the strain on her body. Each ragged breath she took echoed in his mind, amplifying his concern. After seeing the blood, he could no longer stay silent. Even if it disheartened her, he knew he had to intervene and stop her. No, Meiyu. He called out, his voice laced with urgency. You need to stop. But she didn't stop. At that moment, it felt as though she could neither hear nor see anything except for the steps ahead of her. Feng Yun's words fell on deaf ears as she focused all her energy on reaching the 17th step. Feng Mei's breathing grew shallower, her chest heaving as blood seeped from her mouth, staining her clothes. She could feel her body breaking down under the immense strain, her strength fading with every second. The pressure on the 17th step was far beyond anything she had experienced. The crowd, who had been buzzing with anticipation, suddenly gasped in horror. I guess this is impossible after all. What did I tell you? Other than Miss Ling Meiyu, I don't believe anyone could reach the 17th step. At least, she tried. Some of them gloated about her failure, and others felt disappointed. Looking at the state Feng Mei was in, nobody believed that she could advance any further. She's bleeding. She's pushing herself too far. Feng Zhenshan and Feng Zhilan said with worry. Although they were proud that their Feng Clan youth had such great resilience, seeing Feng Mei's blood, they couldn't help but feel that she was overdoing it. Feng Chen was also worried. Although he was certain that even if she went through much worse, he could still save her with a pill, but it didn't mean that he didn't get worried when she got injured. Even if they are worried, what could they do? They just hoped that she would be fine, and that she could quickly successfully finish the ascend. Even if she didn't make it to the 17th step, they believed that reaching the 16th step was already a remarkable achievement.